super dimensional strategy starting with Batman. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 76, The Fall of Queen Keisha. The screen continues. Keisha said, "You found Lena as an accomplice. She is the light of the sun and can push the supernova to explode, but, you know, the supernova cannot be activated here, and the supernova may not be able to destroy me," Thor said angrily. "It really is a cunning god." She said earlier that she might not be able to withstand a supernova explosion, and now she says that a supernova cannot destroy herself. But I'm not bad. I can also hit the neutron star torrent. Lord Thor is still fighting in strange places and is not willing to admit defeat. Keisha in the video continued, "Oh, it turns out you wanted to get me to the Emerald Star, which is a pity. I can't see your demons have this ability. Then you contacted Death God Carl, and sure enough the information he gave me was a trap." Morgana sneered, "Just read my information. I can't stop it anyway. I know that as soon as we meet, you have to laugh at my ignorance and incompetence first. Afterwards." Keisha said again, "Carol doesn't seem to be doing anything. Is it because I can't read the so-called ultimate fear, or maybe he wasn't ready to help you at all? Forget it. I won't make fun of you. Let me die." The next moment, countless angels flew out and fought with Morgana's demon army. Facing Morgana, Keisha showed overwhelming strength. Morgana was pressed and beaten by her all the way. Even Keisha didn't get up during this process, and these audiences didn't even feel how sharp Keisha's silver wings were. How powerful is Keisha's angel armament? Morgana has already been defeated. A complete failure. Anyone with discernment could see that Keisha was actually soft-hearted, and she was reluctant to kill her sister otherwise. Morgana has died several times. Suddenly, a huge and illusory face appeared, swallowing Keisha in one bite. The next moment Keisha suddenly appeared in front of a bright red planet. People with knowledge of astronomy have always guessed that this is the fixed star that is about to explode in a supernova. After the superstar explodes, the planet will turn into a neutron star, and in this process, will release unimaginable energy, which is one of the most terrifying natural disasters in the universe. In reality, Keisha, who was watching the video, looked curious. "They actually transferred me to the Emerald Star. How did they do it? I can't understand it at all. It turned out that Cole really surpassed me in the research on the void. She has no anger, no loss, no fear, and no fear just seemed very curious." Everyone could not help but stare at her blankly. "It seems that you are going to die here. Do you still care whether you understand it or not?" Iron Man said. "Or maybe it's because of Queen Keisha. You're such a curious person that you're such a great scientist." For the first time he called Keisha queen. At this moment, he completely agrees with Keisha. Iron Man feels that he has gained a lot, and these gods are scientists. Their strength comes from their own scientific research, which gives Iron Man full confidence in his future path. Maybe I can rely on scientific research to make myself as strong as them. Even surpass them. Batman nodded. Knowledge is power. No one has ever expressed this sentence so intuitively and vividly as King of Angel and Death God Carol. This made him feel confident against those Superman classes and against new gods like Darkseid in the future. You have magic. I have science. Humans are not weak. Keisha in the video has almost the same reaction as Keisha in reality. She made a move and a meteorite came under her. She sat down in the void and said, "It's really beyond my understanding. Carl, please explain." In a desperate situation, she also did not have any fear, or gaff, only curiosity in her eyes. The next moment, a man wearing a robe and a hood appeared in front of Keisha. He bowed respectfully to Keisha and raised his head. Everyone was surprised to discover that this Death God Carol, who was called a pervert by Keisha and who had been doing all kinds of horror research, was as handsome as a girl. Keisha said lightly, "How did I get here?" "Space-time is a stable concept in your cosmic thinking," Kerr said, "but I think time and space are unstable." His voice is so soft and unbelievable. Keisha nodded. Kerr continued, "You jump from one point of space to another by adjusting the wormhole, but Like me, I don't change your position, I change the position of space, so I'm still theoretically above Earth? Keisha said. Carl said, it's understandable for now. Keisha shook her head and said, it's irritating. She looked at the fire-breathing Rihanna in front of her and said, and Rihanna, we won't control others in this way. Carl still said gently, so mortals respect you, but not God. Keisha said, this supernova exploded in less than a minute. Carl said, yes. Keisha nodded and said, it can really blow me up. She was calm, as if to say that I just drank and ate an apple. Carl laughed at himself and said, hope, and Morgana proposes to use a big clock to spread every atom of your body to every corner of the universe. She thinks your body has the ability to aggregate, so you need at least 300 million years to reassemble. Keisha chuckled lightly, death is death. Why do you still gather together when you die? You should rest well when you die. Death is not terrible, loneliness is terrible. However, it's the first time I've heard of the knowledge you're talking about spatial instability. It sounds a bit scary, and I need a little time to digest it slowly. At this time, Kyle finally said, there are only 30 seconds left. Forgive me, Queen Keisha, why don't you try to escape? Are you still sitting here waiting to die? Carl imagined killing Keisha countless times, including how he desperately responded to Keisha's pre-death counterattack. This is really very dangerous. Although the knowledge in this area is ahead of Keisha's power is still far stronger than his. If Keisha really wants to fight to the death, he will do it well and bear the huge loss consciousness. There may even be a risk of falling to yourself, who is already a phantom, but he did not expect that Keisha would face her own death so indifferently. This made Carl unable to understand. Keisha said, I can raise a knife with my hand, and Lena's 3 generations of gods will be completely shattered by me, but I won't do it, because in order to survive, drawing a knife at the weak violates Angel's justice. Your phantom body most likely won't die, so leave you to someone else to kill. Keisha stood up in the void and stretched out her hands as if to embrace the supernova that was about to explode. Come on, I want to see how you destroy my justice. An endless burst of red light completely engulfed Keisha's figure. The next moment, it was the dark matter space again, which was Angel's dark matter communication network. Keisha's figure was still there. She said, it is confirmed that Angel Yan will act as the new commander of Angel and protect our world for me. All parties, Angel and the civilization under the rule, please actively support and cooperate and assist Angel Yan to become the new king of Angel. Please understand that my state is no longer sharp. If one day I will be destroyed by the enemy, then the good Zao of the righteous world needs a new battle god to lead you to regain what we lost. Finally, please also ask Angel Hexie to give her enough tests. Angel Hexie also appeared in the dark matter space. Queen Keisha smiled and said, Hexie, do you believe it? One day, Yan will be better than you in this dark matter communication space. Hexie also had no sadness on her face. She also smiled and said, F***K your man, the tens of thousands of years old fairy. The next moment, whether in the real world or in the communication network of dark matter, Queen Keisha has fallen. At that moment, the countless angels in the video heard the news of the queen's death. They didn't shed tears, but they held the sword tighter, and their eyes were full of flames of revenge. In reality, the audience is solemn. Even emotional boys and girls like Spider-Man, Scarlet Witch, The Flash couldn't help shedding tears. They don't know why they are crying. Obviously Keisha is not dead. Why do I want to cry when I see this scene? Writing about Queen Keisha is really hard to write because she is too calm and emotionally stable, so it's not easy to do it. The next moment I write about Morgana, and it will be fun when Zan starts a group. Thank you for reading this story at mtlarchive.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. Chapter 77, Winter Soldier Sentencing, Alien Invasion. Seeing this scene, Keisha laughed. You children, how long have we known each other? I haven't died yet. Why are you crying? Yes, in her eyes these are children, including the ancient one. Even Odin may not outlive her. Scarlet Witch held his face and said, I don't know. What a shame. For The first time, Odin took the initiative to speak to Keisha. Queen Keisha, I have to admit, the angel civilization is a great civilization. And you are also a great leader. Keisha said lightly, what is great? I just don't like the strong bullying the weak, so the justice order created is just a woman's willfulness. Luther still couldn't help saying, because you are strong enough, you are justice. Keisha said lightly, when you see something, do you think it's not right? It shouldn't be like this. It's unjust. Luther paused and finally nodded. Keisha said, look, since you think some things are wrong and some things are unjust, then there should be justice in this world. Justice is not about strength or weakness, no matter how strong you are. It is not justice without justice. Justice is something that exists objectively in our world. 037 is like Tony Stark. You're willing to fly into a wormhole with a nuke, and you're willing to die with Thanos, right? Just because you think their actions are unjust. Everyone was silent again, and began to think about Keisha's words at this time. The narrator continued, as for K's power, it's almost the same, because as long as Keisha knew she was going to fall into that kind of danger, then this would definitely not happen. Carl and Morgana have only one chance to kill her. This is the end of the strategy for Queen Keisha. The website popped up with the question this time, how did the demon queen Morgana die? Asterisk 1. Killed by Angel Yan. 2. Killed by the power of the galaxy. 3. Killed by China bombing. 4. Recovering as Angel, dying to save people. Others did not rush to answer this question. They all looked at Keisha. Keisha said, first exclude Hua. Hua Yi is a loser. He does not have the ability to kill Morgana. As for Yan, if in a few thousand years, she does have the ability to kill Morgana after the power of the galaxy matures, it is also possible. But I choose 4. Revert to Angel and die to save people. She felt that Morgana had done a lot of wrong things, and 10 deaths were not enough. But she still hoped that Morgana's heart still kept so many things that belonged to Angel. The website replied, if you answer correctly, you will be rewarded with a copy of Psychological Force Analysis and Spiritual Body Research. This is a purely academic book. Then countless knowledge appeared out of thin air in Keisha's mind. Keisha started analyzing, absorbing, and then saying, this at least saves me thousands of years of research. Understanding this, Carol's phantom body will no longer be indestructible. Then everyone began to discuss the crisis of various worlds and exchanged some views and technologies. After an hour, this video viewing is finally over. Sube was also rewarded after Keisha answered the right question. Parallel universe teleportation device. There was a strange device design in his mind. To put it bluntly, even if it was printed in his mind, he couldn't understand it at all. According to the description of this design diagram, if the device is completed, he can teleport something to a certain parallel universe. You can even communicate directly with characters in a parallel universe. But with the current level of technology in this world, Sube felt that it would take thousands of years to get it out. He only has a lifespan of 500 years, but there is always a way to intersect with parallel universes. He decided to first try to split the parts of these blueprints and let people in this world help him research and manufacture. With his current ability, he is not short of money. In this way, the development of science and technology can be promoted, and it may be possible to reduce the research and development time a little. Sube got busy, and after watching this video, the people in these parallel universes also started to get busy. The first is Iron Man, who called the people of Avengers together and officially established Avengers. Several members of the original Avengers were willing to join, including the Captain of the United States. Even Scarlet Witch, Wanda and Quick Shadow are willing to join the Avengers. As for the revenge of their parents, they did not mention it. And Iron Man said that he would provide equipment for each of them, even the armor. He also decided to make Jarvis a new artificial superintelligence. This issue, he put the Avengers to discuss. This is the sincerity that the Raiders said. Thanos has a lot of weird and wonderful technology products, and can even create instruments that can observe the future. Iron Man, they definitely didn't know it was a misunderstanding. If this super artificial intelligence has a good personality like Vision, and will not attack human superintelligence like Ultron. It may have miraculous effect on Thanos, however. This proposal was rejected. They were all afraid that Iron Man would really come up with Ultron. Then without Thanos, maybe the human race would be finished. Thor also inexplicably broke the seal of the website and regained his divine power. Iron Man and Dr. Banner also received the Tesseract from Nafurina and began researching their own Infinity Gloves. To their dismay, Thanos crushed the Tesseract's shell with just one touch point, but when they got to them, they couldn't break the Tesseract's shell. This made them realize the gap with Thanos once again. However, it is possible to start by harnessing the energy of the Tesseract. Point about Bucky's surrender. The court will soon open. Point originally, lawyers pleaded not guilty to Winter Soldier on the grounds that Winter Soldier was under control at the time point, but Winter Soldier took the initiative to admit it. He said, "At that time, although I was controlled by others, what I did brought harm to countless people, and I'm willing to take responsibility." Thus, he was sentenced to a life sentence. Point. And at this time, an accident happened. Point. Iron Man's moons were the first to spot signs of alien spaceships. It seems that even without Loki, Thanos sent others to attack Earth. Point. On the other side, Doctor Strange finally followed the Ancient One magician to practice. Point. He's finally become Doctor Strange. His practice is very fast, and within a month or two, many spells are already handy. However, there is still a long way to go to fight someone like Thanos, and there is some fear in my heart. He did a lot of psychological construction before he decided to become a magician, but after all, he was just a doctor, not a soldier. It's normal to feel this way. At this time, Ancient One suddenly looked up at the sky and said, "Aliens have invaded the Earth, and this was not originally a magician's battlefield, but I think you can try it on the battlefield." Doctor Strange asked in surprise, "Aren't you going?" Ancient One magician sighed, "I have more important things." Earlier, she finally discovered the whereabouts of Caecilius, her proud disciple, the evil magician who had stolen the spell to summon Dormammu. "I can still write the 7th update. I don't believe I can do it. Thanks to the support of the readers and gentlemen for giving me motivation. Sleep well." Chapter 78. Loki wants to do something. Avengers headquarters. Iron Man has converted one of his buildings into the headquarters of the Avengers, where members of the Avengers now gather to discuss how to deal with an alien invasion. Point. Iron Man said, "It has been confirmed that the previous one was just an alien scout ship. Their main force should be coming soon. Everyone, tell me, what should we do?" Thor threw the Thor hammer in his hand, then laughed. "Just let them come, and watch me smash them to death with a hammer." Black Widow looked at Thor and couldn't help shaking his head. "You are a god after all. You have fought for thousands of years, and you don't talk about tactical strategy at all." Thor said, "Definitely. Do you need it? I have always fought like this, and I have never lost. You must know that I'm the man who killed Thanos. You can't take it off your mouth, can you?" Everyone was speechless and couldn't help turning their heads. The United States captain pressed his temple and said, "We'd better keep our enemies off planet. If they were allowed to enter Earth, the casualties would be too great. But we don't have the ability to project troops into space, and we don't have the ability to fight in space." Iron Man said, "My latest version of the armor can briefly fight in space, but oxygen and energy endurance is an issue, and there are too few of us. This time, they are not like when Loki brought people to invade Earth. They did not come through the portal, but the entire fleet, and we had no way to isolate their fleet by closing the portal. The low probability of destroying their flagship with a single black bullet can only be done as a last-ditch effort, and cannot be regarded as our conventional tactics." Hawkeye whispered, "If you can make a black bullet into an arrow, I can shoot it into the alien's powder depot. However, I'm just a nobody. I don't even have a strategy. It's normal that you don't pay attention to my opinion. Do you mind so much? You don't have a strategy." Black Widow covered his face and said, "Barton, don't act like a child." Iron Man's mouth twitched. "How could there be such a small black bullet? Aren't you embarrassing me, Iron Man?" Tony Stark. Iron Man continued, "As for my Iron Legion, there's no satellite support in space. There's nothing Jarvis can do. They're just a pile of scrap iron. At this time, we need a higher level of artificial intelligence to help us control the Iron Legion. When he said this, everyone immediately understood what he meant. Captain the United States said, Tony, super artificial intelligence is too dangerous, probably more dangerous than Thanos. Thanos will only kill half of the humans. The super artificial intelligence goes crazy and may kill all the humans. The lesser of two powers. You guys don't believe I can come up with a safe and controllable super artificial intelligence. Iron Man just felt a pain in his head. He almost wanted to do it himself, but he was worried that it would crack the Avengers. Forget it. The team needs a proper compromise, and unity is the most important thing. Dr. Banner said, I also think that super artificial intelligence can be done, but not now. We need to design a very perfect test to ensure that there are no problems. Iron Man thought for a while, then turned to look at Thor and said, you Asgard should have spaceships that can fight in space, right? Can you lend it to us or sell it? Thor shook his head and said, we have Bifrost, which can be teleported anywhere, and we don't need space battleships. Go seems to be true. It can be directly teleported, and a fart spaceship is required. The United States captain's eyes lit up. Then you send us into the enemy's fleet through Bifrost. Is this plan feasible? Thor said, direct teleportation can't be done inside the fleet, but it can be teleported outside the fleet and then killed directly. Isn't it the same? Everyone can't help but nod. It is indeed feasible. Finally there is a tactic. At this time Scarlet Witch said, have you forgotten that there are magicians on Earth? They are also Earthlings. We are looking for them. Before she could finish her words, a door of light opened in front of them, and Doctor Strange stepped out, wearing a magician suit, but without the red cloak. I'm already here, he said. Everyone was a little surprised, and Quicksilver asked, what about Master Ancient One? Doctor Strange's face froze. What do you mean? I'm here. Are you not happy looking down on my future Sorcerer Supreme? He said a little depressedly. Master Ancient One, she said that she has more important things to do. Iron Man said angrily, what is more important than an alien invasion? Is it some dimension that Mephisto has invaded Earth again? He was originally angry, and when he said this, everyone couldn't help but pause for a while, and then there was a chill all over the body. It's really possible. Isn't this called a house leak and even snow and rain? Aliens and dimensional Mephisto came to Earth at the same time. What on earth makes you so fascinated? At this moment, the roof of the Avengers building suddenly shattered with a bang. Then a multicolored brilliance fell, shining on Thor's body. Next lesson, Thor disappears. Everyone was shocked, thinking that the aliens carried out some decapitation tactics. At this point Doctor Strange said, this is Bifrost of Asgard. They called Thor back. The Asgards preparing to fight the fleet that invades Earth. Iron Man said, don't discuss it with us. Who knows what's going on with them? It's up to you. By the way, Doctor Strange, can your light door send us to the alien spaceship? Doctor Strange said, I'm not very mature, and it's dangerous to drive directly inside the ship. If you drive outside the spaceship, you can give it a try. In this way, Avengers tactics finally have room to operate. Looking at the familiar scene, Thor knew he was traveling through space under Bifrost's lead. Soon, all illusions disappeared, and he returned to Asgard. Standing in front of him were his 4 men. Thor was very happy and gave them a big hug. 4 flowers. Then he asked, did my father bring me back? We are going to war with Thanos, aren't we? His men were at a loss. Who was Thanos? The only female warrior. Sif said, Lord Fugly asked you to come back. Thor didn't talk nonsense, swung his hammer, and flew to his mother's place. Soon, Fugly saw Thor and she laughed. This kid, who hasn't seen him these days, looks a lot more mature. Thor fell in front of her and said immediately, Mother, father called me back. Is he going to fight Thanos? About Thanos. Odin also said something to Fugly, but the corner of his mouth trembled when he heard Thor's return. I want to take it back. If this child is mature, how could it be so rash to start a war with a dominant figure like Thanos? When a mortal fights a big war, he must prepare for at least several years. Fugly shook her head and said, no. Odin fell into Odin's sleep. Asgard needs someone to sit in. 0. Odin can not only allow Odin to restore his Odin power through deep sleep, but also delay his aging. In the movie, Odin later behaved a little bit and died quickly. Maybe he was forced to wake up from Odin's sleep, causing damage. It seems that Odin is also preparing for the next big battle. Thor immediately thought of Iron Man's proposal and used Bifrost to fight Thanos' fleet in a beheading tactic. I'm preparing to discuss with Fujali. But before that, he suddenly thought of Loki and said, "Where's Loki?" At this moment, Loki swaggered in from the door. Fujali was stunned. "Loki, aren't you in confinement? Why did you escape again? You even created an illusion." Loki's vision froze for a moment. "Mother, can you see that I'm a vision?" Fujali smiled doubtingly. "Don't forget who taught your illusions. You can fool everyone, but you can't fool me." At this moment, Thor was furious. "What the hell are you doing, Loki? Where did you go? Is the alien spaceship on Earth related to you?" Loki looked at Thor and smiled smugly. "Isn't this my stupid brother who only has a muscled Thor? It doesn't matter what I do. Look, I'll conquer Earth, I'll kill Thanos, and I'll rule the universe. Odin will know that I'm his best son. The people of Asgard will know that I'm their only king, and that the people of the earth have made me their only god." Thor picks up a fist the size of a sandbag and is about to fight. The strategy is right. This kid won't fight for 3 days. He will go to the house to reveal the tile. Just take more. "No, it's just an illusion. What's the use of hitting him?" he added. "Loki, don't mess around. Look. Well, my idiot, I want you, the Avengers, Father, Thanos, and the rest of the universe to know what the consequences will be for underestimating me." Loki bows slightly to him, then spreads his arms and backs away, before disappearing. 7. Thank you for reading this story at mtlarchive.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. Chapter 79. Loki are invincible. More than a dozen super huge amounts of battleships came out of the space and appeared above the orbit of the Earth. The Chitauri have ended their superluminal flight. Their commander looked at the Earth data displayed on the screen in front of him. Still using a jet flight machine. The farthest rocket propelled to the moon is too funny. You might as well pull it with a carriage. Oh, the electronic information system is so rudimentary. It's better than a house built of stones. They actually have black weapons. Did this level of technology actually invent a black weapon? That Einstein. This guy can't be an alien. After reading the Earth information detected by the reconnaissance ship once, the commander of Chitauri mocked the Earthlings for the individual point. But it is quite unexpected to have black weapons on Earth. After all, the principle of the Black 037 weapon is the way the sun burns, which is a weapon that can also be used in interstellar warfare. But soon he relaxed. Black weapons alone are useless. You can't hit me. This world simply doesn't have the ability to deliver nuclear weapons from space. The commander turned his head and said, "Bring that Asgard up." Soon, the guards on the side brought Loki up. Loki made an exaggerated circle with his hands, then placed it on his stomach, bowing slightly. "The commander of the Great Chitauri, the second prince of Asgard, Loki greets you. The Asgards aren't nobody in the universe. How come their prince is like a joker?" The commander said disdainfully. "Tell me, what exactly do you want to see our king?" Loki said, "You know, Earth is a vassal of our Asgard. If you want to forcibly attack the Earth, that is to fight against our Asgard, the great Odin will not let his enemies go." The commander of Chitauri burst out laughing. "Our master is the great Thanos. We don't care at all. A land name that calls himself a god after a few plots. Lord Thanos will crush Odin into slag." Even though he said that, he still had deep fear of Odin in his tone. Loki laughed. "You're right. Odin is stubborn, old, and incompetent, and doesn't know people." He was about to pass on his divine position to his eldest son, my stupid brother, Thor, but rashly fighting Asgard must have an impact on Lord Thanos' mission, right? The commander frowned. "Asgard, what are you trying to say?" Loki said, "I Loki, the second prince of Asgard, and the earth belongs to us, Asgard. As long as you attack the earth in my name, then you are not at war with Asgard. It is the prince of Asgard to take back his territory. You won't have to fight Asgard." Makes sense. But the commander wondered, "What's in it for you, Loki?" had a frenzied look on his face, and then said with some shyness, "I just want to give the earth to me to rule. After I knock down the earth, let me take back what I deserve, and then I will lead people to counterattack Asgard and become the king of Asgard. At that time, I will lead the entire Asgard to serve Lord Thanos." The commander laughed. "So it is, this stupid Asgard wants to use the power of Lord Thanos to compete with his brother for the throne point in such a desolate and remote place on Earth. As long as you complete the task of Lord Thanos, how about it for you?" The commander said. "Yes, then invade the Earth under your name," Loki said flatteringly. "Then, please let me personally go to meet the great king of Chitauri and thank him in person." Chitauri's spiritual and physical structure naturally knows that their king is the most important thing, and when the king dies, all other people of the same race will die. It will definitely not be seen by idle people, and others it will, and it must be protected the most comprehensively. The commander said, "As long as you strike down the earth and show your loyalty, then the king will meet you naturally." Hearing this, Loki sighed slightly and said, "I gave you a chance." Chitauri's commander was startled. "What did you say?" As soon as the words fell, he only felt a sharp pain in his back and saw that Loki had appeared behind him at some point and stabbed his heart with a knife. Even more terrifying, the former Loki was still standing in front of him. And the screams kept ringing. In this command room, a Loki appeared behind everyone and swept all these commanders to the ground with his knife. The commander's whole body fell into an ice cave. And with the only strength, he shouted, "Illusion? Are you a necromancer? Impossible. These must be illusions created by you. As long as someone finds out that you attacked me, you will be dead." All the Loki put away their knives and turned their heads, staring at him. The voices of countless Loki came together. "Can you tell which of us is real and who is fake?" The commander's consciousness was blurred, and he had no idea what Loki was talking about. Loki continued, "Your people, who can tell which one I'm real and which one I'm fake? Who among them can tell whether the wounds on their bodies are real or fake? Is the pain they endured real or fake?" Loki smiled proudly. "Can't tell the difference. There is a very annoying guy who said that if the illusion I created can make it impossible for others to tell whether it is real or fake, then the fake is also real." He said that the guy he hates is naturally Sube. He hates the website that makes the guide and the person behind the website. But I have to say that the person who makes the guide is right. As long as my illusions are real enough, the fakes are real. These Chitauris thought that when they were truly mortally wounded, that they were in pain, that they were dead, they would really die. I, Lord Loki, are so strong. I'm invincible. Commander has lost his breath! 0.7 Then all the corpses have been covered up by Loki's illusion, and he himself has taken on the appearance of Commander Chitauri. He looked at the dozen or so Chitauri battleships and frowned. "Which one is the flagship?" On the Earth, human satellites have spotted Chitauri warships appearing. Global panic. At this time, all the members of the Avengers put on the armor provided by Iron Man, which can fight in space. And Doctor Strange looked at the projections of the warships sent back by the satellite and suddenly asked, "There are so many warships, one is their flagship, which one does their king live in?" As soon as these words came out, everyone looked at me, and I looked at you. The atmosphere was awkward for a while. The beheading operation has not yet begun. It may be over. Chapter 80 Finding Harley Quinn. I don't know if the last 2 chapters were poisonous or not, and the sudden drop in subscription scared me, so this episode is a little bit faster. Faced with this dilemma, Iron Man said, "JARVIS." Then countless data streams poured out on the display of his mask, and eventually those data all pointed to one of the battleships. Iron Man only knew that at that time the battleship said to Doctor Strange, "This is the fake." Everyone was stunned, and Dr. Banner asked, "How did you know?" Iron Man said, "I had JARVIS scour the internet for unusual information when I discovered an alien scout ship the other day. J.R.V.I.S found some strange code that I think may have something to do with aliens and have been deciphering, although it has not been fully deciphered. With these data, JARVIS has detected the data interaction of these warships. Almost all the data in it points to that one, so it must be the flagship. If JARVIS were promoted to super artificial intelligence. These things would have been deciphered long ago, or they could reverse invade their systems and win without a fight. Iron Man still hasn't given up on his plan to build a super level 13 artificial intelligence. However, now is not the time to say that. Iron Man's words make everyone feel like they can give it a try. Doctor Strange let out a long sigh, then stretched out his hand, pointed out a little bit of brilliance like electric light, drew a circle, and then a portal leading to the starry sky appeared in front of everyone. Iron Man and Dr. Banner jumped in first, followed by the others with a roar. Dr. Banner has transformed into the Hulk. His nano armor has changed, only a hood on the head, which provides oxygen for him, and a propeller behind it. Because Iron Man knew that his armor covering the Hulk not only did not protect, but hindered his powers, so the warframe only provides him with oxygen and propulsion ability. Then the Hulk jumped onto Chitaura's flagship. He raised his hands high and began to smash down desperately. Then Iron Man's armor opened and countless missiles as small as pencils slammed into the flagship. Others have begun to attack with the weapons on the warframe. However, although their attacks were strong, it was impossible for them to break through such huge amounts of battleship armor in a short period of time. These armors generally have the effect of energy absorbing. The appearance of the Avengers made Chitauri extremely angry, but the Avengers were attached to the flagship like ants, and if others wanted to attack, they would attack the flagship. So they also dispatched a dense number of fighter jets for cosmic starry battles. Seeing that the battle situation is about to become dangerous at this time, Loki noticed something strange. He directly controlled the battleship and attacked Chitaura's flagship frantically. For a while, countless fireworks erupted from Chitaura's flagship, and the endurance of the flagship's armor was falling madly. However, even so, it will last a long time. Suddenly a rainbow crossed the cosmic starry sky. Thor appeared with his 4 generals. They can still live freely in the cosmos and do not need armor protection. Thor let out a frantic roar, holding Mjolnir high, carrying an endless stream of lightning, and slammed down on Chitaura's flagship. 1 hammer, 2 hammers, 3 hammers. He finally blasted off the armor of Chitaura's battleship. The Avengers were overjoyed, and everyone rushed in and killed the quartet. In front of the cannon ship, in front of the real heavy firepower, Chitauri definitely has the absolute advantage. But when Avengers and Thor came in, fighting for individual strength, Chitauri couldn't stop it. So far the dust has settled. When the king of Chitauri was killed by Thor's hammer, all Chitauri all fall down. They are the cellular structure of society. It is also a cellular physiological structure. Wong's death, they will die. At this point, flagship communication is opened. Loki's little face appeared on the communicator. He said proudly, "A group of stupid, if you do not make trouble, I would have to Kiteru Loki adults who completely resolved. Thor Yaojing Gaianu. He really did not think Loki actually secretly snatch at Chitauri warships. He said, "Loki, you really want to do?" Loki, insolent, said, "I definitely was to rule the universe, but before the rule of the universe, I will kill Thanos. He actually were to kill me, Loki adults, but very vengeful. When I kill Thanos, you people just waiting for me to come back clean neck, conquer Earth, as God conquer it." He laughed, driving out of the battleship fleet sequence Chitauri, and drove toward the vast sky. Everyone, not from Silent Point, they totally do not understand what they are going to do. Loki. But this time Kiteru invasion, Avengers victory, it's better than nothing. DC Universe. Batman is very angry because Joker escaped. Joker no natural ability to escape from the isolation that everything, even the children, are not made island. But insisted that the Joker Batman charge back to trial. After the trial is completed, then that alone is the Joker to his hand rest of his life in prison. But he did not think they hold the line under the situation. Joker was able to escape. Even Superman cannot find even the Joker. We know Superman with his super hearing, locked heart beating several people. His mother, Louise, Luthor, Batman, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, the Flash, as long as he wants. When he can find a few people. And he locked the mother of Louise's voice and he will be the first time if they encounter any danger. Room 037. No, Superman is also aware of the dangers of the Joker, so he locked the Joker heartbeat point for Superman has super hearing. The heartbeat of every individual is unique, as is each individual's fingerprint point, but now he cannot hear the heartbeat of the Joker. He did not believe in Batman. Joker so dead point. This shows that there are ways to change the Joker. His heart beating point. This is better understood. After all, if the use of drugs, it is possible to change the person's heartbeat point. But how he knew Superman was locking his trail with a heartbeat? Anyway, Batman is so absolutely impossible for Joker to escape. Point is full search Joker's whereabouts after the catch Joker. Batman's special investigation of him, but the Joker's past is like a blank point. He did not know what way will the presence of their own. A few decades erase all traces. Joker no way looking to start looking. However, Batman has a name. Harry Quinn. Point. He remembers watching the Raider Zone. When he mentioned the name Harry Quinn, the Joker was like death uncomfortable. Mom. Point. So, when he called in to find the name of a man, however, that name, but a lot of people, he cannot target a specific person. Point. Previously also ruled out slowly, one by one, now only visited one by one. Chapter 81. Don't go to Arkham Asylum to work. Joker slowly woke up and found that his wounds had been bandaged and he was still getting a drip. Point. Looking at a bottle next to him, he immediately smashed the bottle and took the glass fragments of the broken bottle into his hand. Point. He thought things were interesting. Point. Originally, he always wanted to find trouble with Batman, but he didn't want Batman to find him first, and threw himself on a deserted island where birds don't shit. Point. On that kind of desert island, unless you can fly, it is impossible to escape. Point. On the desert island, he kept wondering, how on earth did Batman find himself? Then he thought of Superman, maybe the guy who could fly, with some weird skills. So, when he escaped from the trial, he first robbed a pharmacy and sprayed himself with an unknown amount of spray to change his smell. Point. Then he took a lot of drugs that he didn't know what to do to change his physiological characteristics. He didn't know how Batman and Superman locked him down. Point. But he didn't find the tracker on his body. Maybe he found it through some physical features on his body. Point. So he will do it. Point. As for whether he would die after eating those messy things, he never cared about it. Point. Death doesn't matter. He just cares if the world is interesting enough. Point. Now it seems that Batman is really interesting. Point. At this moment, the curtain was drawn and a female doctor came in. Point. The female doctor was blonde and blue-eyed, extremely beautiful. And her figure was so good that even wearing a doctor's white coat, she couldn't hide her extremely perfect figure. Point. Joker had a strange feeling at first sight of her. Joker never thought he would fall in love with someone, and he didn't know what it was like to love someone. Point. This strange feeling made him a little irritable, even a little disturbed. Point. The woman looked at the broken bottle and said, "Don't be nervous, I'm a doctor, and I found you on the side of the road." Oh my god. How many meds are you taking? I've seen a lot of crazy addicts, but you're definitely the craziest one. You don't die. If you don't die, there are a lot of addicts in the big beautiful country. Point. In Gotham, there are more addicts and more female doctors, so naturally it's not surprising. Point. Joker suddenly asked a very strange question. Even he himself did not know. Why would he ask? Why did you save me? Are you not afraid that I'm a bad person? The female doctor said, "You don't have a gun." Point. She was, of course, Harley Quinn, a psychiatrist. Point. She has practiced gymnastics and has the physical quality of a professional athlete. She is no longer afraid of ordinary hooligans holding weapons. As long as this man doesn't have a gun on him, she has nothing to worry about. Point. Doctor, when someone falls to the ground, he always wants to save them. Joker laughed awkwardly. He just thought this woman was very interesting. Point. He could see at a glance that this calm-faced doctor had a different flame in his heart. Point. He really wanted to see what this fire would make this female doctor look like after it ignited in her heart. It's so fun. It's as fun as turning Batman into a freak like himself. Point. This world is so boring. There was only one toy Batman, but now he has found a new toy. Point. But suddenly a voice sounded, "I found you." Both Harley Quinn and Joker were shocked, and Batman had already stood behind Harley Quinn at some point. Joker immediately sat up and pulled out the infusion needle from himself. He patted his chest like a little girl, as if frightened, and said, "Night, Batman, are you so reluctant to let me go?" You have to chase me, no matter what point. Batman said. Do you know how I found you? Joker tilted his head. The needle that was pulled out was already hidden between his fingers. Probably that flying freak has some unusual ability. Batman said. No, because I know you're going to find this woman. Joker stayed for a while. The answer was beyond his expectations. Then he laughed weirdly again. This joke is not funny. I didn't even know I would meet her. Can you predict the future? Batman said. You know what? This is your destiny. You can't escape no matter what. The rest of your life will be spent in that luxurious private prison. Joker kept shaking his head. This joke is not funny. I'll tell you a funny joke. While fleeing, I kidnapped a family and hid them in a secret place they can't escape, and they have nothing to eat. What a pity. If you catch me, then their family will starve to death, and when they are too hungry, they will eat everything like crazy. Do you say they start eating with young children or with elderly fathers? Batman said calmly. You want to hold me? Let me let you go. Joker shook his head frantically again. No. I don't need you to let me go. I just like to catch you and me. I'm just so curious. How on earth did you find me? Braided rope quickly received. I said this is your destiny. After talking, he rushed up. Batman was too fast. Joker was too weak. And Joker wanted to use broken glass and an infusion needle to narrow Harley Quinn, but he didn't do it. Knock Joker to the ground in no time. As for the person kidnapped by the Joker, Batman is confident he can find it. Harley Quinn didn't have much panic in her eyes, but found it interesting. She said, what the hell is going on with him? I haven't seen a patient of this type. Batman said, forget this madman, forget me, and forget about seeing you today. When you encounter this lunatic in the future, either call the police or find me, and he will take you to the abyss of doom. No, you won't meet him. Also, don't go to work at Arkham Asylum. Before Batman was sure who was Harley Quinn he was looking for. If you don't see your own strategy, then Joker will probably be locked in Arkham Asylum, or Harley Quinn knew Joker their point. So he searched Arkham Asylum and Harley Quinn, and sure enough he found a connection point. That's why he can find Joker so quickly and give Harley Quinn a warning. After finishing speaking, he jumped from the upstairs with Joker and sent Joker to the private luxury prison again. This time, there is no need for a trial, because the trial is over, and the execution can be done directly. Harley Quinn's second monk is confused. Batman actually exists. Why would he know? He sent his resume to Arkham Asylum. Why does it show up when I'm in danger? Could it be that he has a crush on me? Super Universe. He looked at the new information that Keisha had added to the treasure house of sacred knowledge. She was very surprised. Your research on spiritual power and soul has reached this point. Has the existence of the soul been established? It came by accident, Keisha said. By the way, do you think the spatial structure is continuous and stable, or unstable and changing? Crane said. How can space be unstable? Keisha turned her head and said, but that's the truth. Let's take this as our future research topic. This will take our study of the void to the next level, or soon we will know what the void is. Hexy said very unhappily. Why are you nagging? Keisha smiled and said, in a few days, something very interesting will appear, and then I will ask you to watch it together. By the way, let's also call Yan and Greed. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 82 Angel Demon, Online Head Office. It worked. Looking at the little thing in his hand, Sube showed a satisfied smile. This is a special metal that he spent 9 days and 9 nights building and can be used in parallel universe transmission devices with Sube's super ability. Money means nothing to him. Before he got the money, found major researchers all over the world and invested a lot of money asking them to manufacture the parts of the parallel universe crossing device. But the first step got them stuck. Because of the many special materials required, this world simply cannot be created. According to their estimates, The world may not be built for hundreds of years. Sube was depressed at the time, and then he thought of a way. Don't I have a green light ring? Green light rings can create real objects, so he wanted to use the green light ring to create a parallel universe teleportation device point, but he failed. It may be that the Green Lantern ring cannot construct such a fine substance point, so he thought of other ways. He now owns pieces of Phoenix Force point, and the Phoenix Force is capable of manipulating the world at the macro level point. It's just that Phoenix Force is not easy to master. He experimented for 9 days, 040, and 9 nights before finally creating such a large piece of special metal for nails. If it goes on like this, maybe it only takes 2 or 3 years for him to make all the special materials needed for this device point, several times faster than previously estimated. It made him so happy. The world he lives in has no extraordinary ability, and there are no invasions such as gods, demons, and aliens. The world is relatively flat. For ordinary people, this kind of blandness is definitely good. It represents stability, and Sube is not willing to destroy this kind of stability point. But for him with super ability, it's a bit boring so he really wanted to have a little connection with various parallel worlds and make his dull life a little more fun. That's why I was so enthusiastic about researching this parallel universe transmission device point. Now that he finally has a look, he is naturally happy. Then in the next time, he began to cut videos and make strategies. When he finished uploading all of them, he realized that he had uploaded too many. The website says he can only upload once every 10 days and can only upload 3 at a time. But now it has uploaded 4 and it has been uploaded successfully. Sube was surprised. What's going on? You have uploaded 1 more video, but this video will not be rewarded for answering questions. The website said multiple uploads will be converted into premium videos, and people in parallel universes will have to pay a price to watch this, and such a thing. This site gave him a bit of a profiteer vibe. Do you need a paid service for such an awesome website? Small. The layout is small, but no matter what, it was uploaded anyway, and when the viewing time started, Sube turned on the ability of a high-dimensional observer and began to peek at the screen happily. Super universe. Not long after Morgana came to Earth, she was communicating with Death God Carol. Carol, you idiot, talk about yourself all day long. Say what you are, Death God. Say how good death is. How do you make people on Earth believe in you? It's so terrifying that the brain dead will believe in you. Idiot. What did you say? After killing Keisha, the Earth is yours. Stop kidding. Idiot. What's mine is mine. No matter how much I do, it's all mine. I'm the king of angels. Okay, not anymore. I'm the goddamn king of angels. Morgana hung up Carl angrily. Damn. Actually want to grab the Earth with me. Then she looked at the virtual projection of the Earth in front of her and said, this planet that doesn't poop can also create gods. Thinking of the power of the galaxy, the god of war, the light of the sun, and even the super space-time gene she wanted most, appeared here. She really felt incredible. You know, the price of creating a god is very high. But these super genes have all appeared here, which is really impossible to say. By the way, Atto's reincarnation is still in this realm. I will activate him later, and then learn about this strange world for myself. But at this moment, a virtual projection screen appeared in front of her. Morgana was shocked. What is it? She pushed her Demon 1 engine, trying her best to solve the sudden thing, but nothing came of it. Because no matter how she calculates, scans and analyzes, this projection screen doesn't seem to exist. This made her sweat all over her body. What exactly is this? Could it be made by the void creatures? They know my true purpose, want to communicate with me. The next moment, she saw several virtual screens appearing around, showing dense figures, in which she saw Keisha and Hexy. At that moment, Morgana was so frightened that her hair was hardened. Did Keisha come up with something awesome to kill me again? She wanted to flash people directly. She really doesn't beat Keisha, but if she wants to fight, she really can't beat her. What's more, Keisha has come up with this kind of thing that she doesn't understand at all. At this time, facing Keisha is courting death. Keisha also saw Morgana, and she finally understood what the previous viewer said about the bad taste of the website. So, the passion of the two sisters began. Keisha, you big B***ch. You chase after me all day long, and it didn't take long for me to recover. Ah. Isn't this the Devil Queen? How can you be so down after thousands of years? There are just a few small servants around. Oh, I forgot. In the last battle, all your servants were wiped out, right, Keisha? You asterisk, asterisk asterisk, Morgana, asterisk, asterisk, most of the live broadcast rooms are acquaintances. Although they saw Keisha and Morgana's confrontation last time, they only said a few words, but now, the two have let go of their confrontation point this time. The glorious image of Queen Keisha that they had built up in their hearts collapsed directly. Nia felt flustered. Why did this thing suddenly appear in front of me? Is this some kind of hallucination of mine? A programmer by day, a hacker by night. You can make money, but you can't sleep well all day. But I slept well yesterday. I shouldn't have this kind of hallucination. Next, he watched Morgana and Keisha's online confrontation. The whole person was stunned. Is this some new cosplay online chat room? Has this kind of virtual screen projection been made with this kind of technology? What's wrong with doing this shit? Chapter 83. Doctor Strange felt a malicious website. Wearing a bathrobe, Harley Quinn same feeling forced. Before the accident met Batman. Batman Arkham Asylum let her not to go to work. But how would she recommend a stranger to listen to it? Resume voted. And she was very interested in the study of Arkham Asylum's crazy. She believes she can cure these severe mental illness and these people. How good research material are, but she did not expect is that Arkham Asylum actually turned her down. Own dignified Oxford University psychiatry, psychology double PhD, was surprised to be rejected. She definitely does not know if this is because Batman Arkham Asylum to throw a lot of money so that they do not admit Harley Quinn. She was very depressed. Just took a shower, ready to drink wine. But I do not want suddenly appeared in front of this thing. Next is the two women dressed like crazy drama god of spray on the virtual screen. She even saw Bruce Wayne and Luthor both super rich and Superman. This second generation rich Bruce Wayne is famous debauchery. Luthor recent presidential election big beautiful country. Equally famous Superman flying every day, everywhere save untold miseries, but also well known than the two men. Originally the three men is in any case not contact them, but they actually also appear here. This allows Harley Quinn feel this place is very interesting. Two sisters finally sprayed almost the same. Superman once again served as a commentator site. Marinho is directly think they're crap, but what people have online today anyway. He also available, accompanied them on nonsense. This technique so cattle fork, do not lose at understanding, and Harley Quinn very letter, but feel good fun. Do not want to go. Mo Megan outset not believe that Keisha is playing tricks have been ambushed 800 angel around to crush their own. She prepared a strategic retreat. But such a long time did not see Angel killed over there. She believed several percent. With her knowledge of Keisha, if Keisha really found out, she certainly would have come up with some people. Also, think about it. Keisha should not engage in such a cow stuff. She did not so much, right? Then they start talking to an old acquaintance. To their experiences spoke again. Marvel Universe here people have solved the first person porch to re-attacks. They are people happy with Marvel Universe. Having looked after Thor, Loki said. You run where to go. Ah. You crazy? You go alone. Thanos, Loki, pointed to his head, proudly said. Thanos killed by the brain is not a muscle, passive defense like you do not use. Batman said. So, are you listening to my advice? You willing to go undercover? Loki, Leng Heng soon raised head and said. What is my undercover? To kill Thanos, become overlord of the universe. Now, people have become accustomed to his style of speaking. Dear. And Professor X and Magneto has been suffering with a straight face. Professor X said. Cairo says it is not, but we have not looked all over Cairo to find the whereabouts of the apocalypse. Others have a crisis in progress, but he has not, which is really too depressed. Batman saw Harley Quinn appear here by surprise. But you can watch the video, and most of it related to future crises, but also in their own videos, where I heard the name. It would really reasonable. He is not prepared to hide their identity because of the video. Cannot hide, he said. Our world is actually a big deal. Did not happen. We found a box of human mother, but the mother did not box any transaction. Steppenwolf did not come. Darkseid did not come. As for the anti-life equation point with his 10 wisdom, can we just did not find where it is. Harry Quinn look ignorant force, which is what you're talking about. Iron Man said. One of the raiders sees Superman because the mother box like the death of Superman activated. It because they are afraid of the power of Superman. But you more than there are now bunch of gas star. They cannot have any transaction. Think of all the people still feel a little sense point chat to this. Almost, we put the spotlight on the website. 4 flowers, this time uploaded 4 new videos. Junior Ewan Raiders, Doctor Strange Raiders Junior Ewan, M.O. Megan Junior Ewan Raiders, Marinho Junior Ewan Raiders, Harry Quinn. See these 4 names. Marinho and Harry Quinn dumbfounded point previously these people talk so fast. Hardware. What is the universe at every turn? Overlord. Alien technology. The mysterious female box. You give these people to a Raiders okay point. But I are ordinary people our point, so Marinho still will there. Words as nonsense, as a role-playing game geeks organization point and Harry there, to see the best of spirits, their future really do experience some different common thing ? 0. So who's it? Look. Doctor Strange looked at the 3 newcomers, obviously have some doubts, said, then I look at it point, then he opened his own point of video Raiders, and then they pop up profiles and pictures of his name point in his pictures. He looked indifferent, a master of all things in the face, while wearing clothes magician, but tied with a bottle of red cape. Name. Strange. Code. Sorcerer Supreme. Kidney magician. Just to see this code, there are a lot of people laugh straight out point. Doctor Strange was furious and said, this is pure nonsense. I do not kidney my body. Good way to go, Loki. Before he finally understood why the often angry point this site is simply full of malice point. Iron Man whistled. Direct laughed. You are a doctor, but do not suffer in silence. Yes, I know a Chinese street in the old Chinese medicine. It's said to be very good in this regard. Shut up. Then he emerged in his profile on the video. Disciples. Sorcerer Supreme Ancient One. The Ancient One is called the greatest Sorcerer Supreme, proficient in a variety of body art, white magic, black magic, and even taboo magic, but, the very beginning, he never thought he would become a magician. He just wanted to get Okayan, just want to earn a name. Doctor Strange ugly black face, which really malicious websites full. 7 Chapter 84 Pushing open the door of magic. Kidney deficiency magician is a stalk point in the comics. Doctor Strange uses a lot of magic to cause damage to the body point. Blood spurting from the 7 orifices, gastric ulcers, gastric perforation, ruptured blood vessels, burning gums, and blood in the urine are all commonplace point. So he is called the magician of kidney deficiency point. It's different in the movie, but Sube still likes to put this meme there point. Doctor Strange was still sulking point. He already appeared in the video. He was shaving his beard, then changed into a delicate suit, opened the pump, and it was full of all kinds of famous watches. He chose a famous watch to wear on his hand and drove his Lamborghini out point. Harley blew a direct whistle point. Although Doctor Strange is not as rich as Luthor, Batman, Iron Man, he is already the kind of high quality man who can attract women. To whistle point, he was driving and talking on the phone point. The other end of the phone said 040 and said, I have a 35-year-old Air Force colonel here. The lower spine was crushed by some kind of experimental device, and the thoracic spine was interrupted with a burst fracture. Doctor Strange said, this kind of surgery, I can definitely do it, but anyone can do it. Give me a challenging one. I also have a 6-year-old woman here with an advanced glioma in the brainstem. Well, do you want to ruin my reputation? I don't want it. Point. The eyes that everyone looked at Doctor Strange was a bit wrong. They didn't want to do too simple surgery, and they didn't want to do too complicated surgery. Point. Isn't being a doctor a little too realistic and too much of a reputation? The real Doctor Strange coughed lightly. After all, my energy is limited, and it is impossible to do so many operations at the same time. So naturally I have to choose the best object. Wanda. Point. She and Quicksilver have been on the run for years, and they dare not go to the hospital if they are sick. If they are really sick, they can only go to a black clinic. Naturally, they don't like a little unscrupulous doctor like Doctor Strange. In the video. The other end of the phone continued. There is also a 22-year-old woman who had an electronic device implanted in her brain to control schizophrenia and was struck by lightning. Doctor Strange said, "That's kind of interesting." Holly said in surprise, "Really? Your world can still treat schizophrenia like this?" But before anyone could respond to her, Doctor Strange in the video was knocked out. Wanda almost screamed. Screen switching. Doctor Strange was already lying on the bed with his hands hanging in the air, fixed with at least dozens of steel nails. Drive. Key, who was watching the video, was shocked. It turned out that I would become like this in the future. With his professional knowledge, he can see that his hands are already useless. Fortunately, after watching the video, my future has changed. A voice next to him said, "This car accident has left Doctor Strange's hands crippled, and he has spent his family's money to treat his own hands. But it didn't work at all until one day he heard about a magical place, Karmataj, met a magician there, the Ancient One magician. Everyone couldn't help but nod. It turned out that the original Doctor Strange took the magician path like this." Screen switching. In an antique oriental building. Doctor Strange, who used to be exquisite, now has long hair, a shaggy beard, and worn clothes, and the bald Ancient One magician was in front of him. Doctor Strange, holding a teacup in one hand, said, "You once cured a man named Pangborn, a paralyzed patient." The Ancient One magician said, "It's barely." Doctor Strange said in surprise and confusion, "How did you heal the completely damaged 8 segments of the neck and neck?" Ancient One magician said, "He can't walk, and I persuaded him that he could." Doctor Strange was startled. "You don't talk about psychotherapy, do you?" Ancient One magician said, "When you reconnect a severed nerve with a scalpel, did you heal him, or did his cells regenerate and heal himself?" "It's cell regeneration." Doctor Strange said in surprise, "Have you been successful in your research on cell regeneration? This is very cutting-edge medical technology." Doctor Strange got more and more excited as he spoke, feeling like he was in the right place, until the Ancient One magician took out an ancient book and said about the human body and meridians. Doctor Strange collapsed directly. "I spent all my money to get here, and now you're telling me to rely on faith to heal? I have never believed in the myths and stories of ki and meridians, nor did I believe in any spiritual power, the power of the soul. There is no soul at all, and human beings are just matter." The next moment, Ancient One magician raised his hand and slapped Doctor Strange with his palm. A transparent figure flew out from Doctor Strange, which was exactly the same as Doctor Strange. The figure stared blankly at his body, blankly at his hands, his face full of disbelief. He felt as if his hands could move. Then the figure returned to his body. Doctor Strange said in shock, "What have you done to me?" The Ancient One magician said, "I just pushed your soul out of your body." Doctor Strange shook his head frantically. "I don't believe it. What did you put in the tea? Hallucinogens? Drugs?" Ancient One magician smiled slightly and pressed his thumb to his brow bone. Doctor Strange seemed to fall into an endless void. The world has changed, completely changed, and the rules have also changed. He is clearly falling, but he is flying higher and higher, flying all the way through the atmosphere, over the moon, and into an even more magical world. There, I saw countless strange images of him. Especially a huge amount of Mephisto. His body seems to be bigger than countless planets, as if the countless planets have turned into part of his body. All the viewers were dumbfounded at this moment. Because even in the video, they could feel the terrifying pressure coming from that Mephisto. This is by no means what normal video can do. This site. What they say is true. Morgana was shocked. Is this true? What magic really exists in this world? What's so that? Is it the ultimate fear? Keisha cut out, "How ignorant and stupid." Before Morgana could scold back, Ancient One said, "No, in the original future, I should have sent his soul to dimensional space 0.7. It's a miniature universe born out of a gap in space. If the universe is a big pie, then these dimensional spaces are the sesame seeds on the pie. In these dimensions, there are many powerful Mephistos who are the scourge of our world. That Mephisto just now is Dormammu, the territory of the Dark Dimension, the main enemy of Earth. The number of words is just over 2,000. These are too many. They should not be considered money. I'm very slow in typing. I used to have at most 10,000 words a day. These days it is about 20,000 words. I'm almost empty, and my thoughts are all over the place. Some can't keep up. The results of this book are far less than those of the top players in the sky, but for me, I'm already very satisfied. Thank you readers for your subscription support. No matter how slow I am, I will insist on 7 shifts every day. If I can't reach that day, I will definitely make up for it in the future. Thank you for your subscription, and the living expenses for next month will be settled. Chapter 85 Morgana. I don't understand, but I'm shocked. Then how can your world still exist? Morgana's voice trembled. She didn't know if it was excitement or fear. Although Sube edited a video, this website has some special functions, which will edit the real breath of the corresponding characters in the video. Not much is revealed. Otherwise, it is just the breath of Dormammu, and most of the people here will be directly infected into dark creatures, but the more powerful beings, the more they can perceive this kind of breath. And the more clearly they know how terrifying the existence of Dormammu is. Iron Man couldn't help pouring himself a glass of wine and drank it dry, feeling as if his hands were a little unsteady on the quilt. Thor, who has always been reckless, feels that he is already a little familiar with the hammer for the first time. He felt that such a terrifying big guy might not die with his own hammer. Definitely. He won't admit it. The United States captain was also pale and his hands and feet were cold. It turns out that in an unknown world, there is such a thing that kills the earth. This thing really wants to come to the earth. How to fight it? I thought I was unlucky enough before, and there were monsters like Apocalypse, Magneto and Professor X in my world, so I couldn't help but feel a little bit fortunate. Not rejoicing that someone else's world is bad. They are not that bad. I'm glad that my world does not have such monsters. Superman couldn't help frowning. Too big. This guy was too big. Can I beat this guy? No. It's not a question of whether you can beat it. As long as this monster appears on Earth, the humans on Earth may not be able to carry it. Hawkeye couldn't help wiping his face. I thought we were already terrible against aliens. I didn't expect that magician was going to fight against such a terrifying monster. Aliens, gods, Thanos, and this kind of Mephisto monster. But I don't have super ability. I only have a bow in my hand. Who should I turn to? Morgana was silent for a while, then looked at Ancient One. So you resisted this monster? Ancient One said, Dormammu is really strong, but not as strong as you think. In the dark dimension, he is indeed omnipotent, and it is very difficult to come to the real world. That's why I can rely on the formation on the earth to repel it. And he just looked scary. Actually not as good as Thanos with infinite gems, but if he really came to the real world, it would be different. The countless planets you saw were the worlds that he swallowed, including the creatures of those worlds, which have all turned into part of his body. Ancient One is an understatement, but everyone knows how difficult it is to repel this terrifying creature. How strong is the Ancient One who can defeat him? Doctor Strange couldn't help but swallow. I thought I'd only have to face aliens like Thanos in the future. I knew I was going to meet this Mephisto. Was it too late for me to get off now? Although Doctor Strange had already done psychological construction when he learned spells with the Ancient One, this scene still exceeded his previous predictions. The screen switches again. Ancient One has begun teaching Doctor Strange spells. How long the language of spells has existed in the world is unknown. In ancient times, magicians called this language spells. If the name strikes you as beyond reality, then you can interpret it as a program. Build realistic source code. This sentence surprised everyone. Because it's a language they understand. Iron Man said, the big guys are either scientists or programmers, and I suddenly feel that our future is not so dark and hopeless. Batman spoke less, just nodded in agreement. Sure enough, knowledge is power. Morgana was also surprised and said, so you can directly access the underlying code of alter reality, so that alter reality can control reality. Isn't This the same as the Void Engine. Magician is really powerful. No wonder it can fight monsters like Dormammu. Yan and Zing couldn't help but look at the queen with admiration in their eyes, which is enough to show how powerful the queen who has created the Void Engine is. A monster like Dormammu should not be able to beat the queen. There was a sudden look in Hex's eyes. No wonder the queen has made such great progress in the past few days. It turns out that she has gained a lot of knowledge. In the video, Ancient One continued, we gather the energies we need from those dimensions, can't a spell and create whatever we want. That's spells. While talking and casting a spell, countless golden energies appeared in front of Ancient One and then converged into a shield. Morgana was shocked again and said, sure enough, the world is indeed information based, and you can use programs to modify information. Alter reality. The world is false, and the ultimate fear is reality. When I heard the first paragraph of Keisha, I felt that what she said made sense, but when I heard the latter paragraph, Keisha was furious. If you do research, just do research. Why do you have to be so arrogant? You say void civilization, void creatures, you still have to say it is the ultimate fear, conceptualize them, and add all kinds of strange settings to them, creating a kind of fallacy to confuse the world and slander that set. Are you a scientist? Like this, but she had been scolding for so long before, she was tired of scolding and didn't want to bother anymore. On the screen. Doctor Strange was shocked, saying, even if my hands could do this, now my hands are out of control. I mean, how to go from rookie to master? Ancient One laughed. Then how did you repair 040's damaged nerve and put the broken spondylosis back in place? At that moment, Doctor Strange was enlightened. Study hard and practice hard, year after year, day after day. The screen switches again. Doctor Strange was practicing spells, and everyone else opened the portal very quickly, but Doctor Strange couldn't do it anyway. So that Ancient One wanted to open a small stove for him. He said in anguish, my hand can't control it at all. Ancient One said, it has nothing to do with your hands. After speaking, another magician walked up to Doctor Strange, and he stretched out his hand from his sleeve, with a bare wrist, and no palm at all. But he easily cast the portal. At this moment, Morgana was shocked again, and felt that her three views had been subverted. So spirit is the root, and spirit can also drive matter. In the material world, angel and demon have reached the pinnacle of their universe. But in the spiritual world, their research is far inferior to that of Carl. If she can learn more about spiritual knowledge from Master Ancient One, then she will no longer be afraid of Carol. Yes, don't watch Morgana scold Carol if she wants to, but she is very jealous of this big pervert in her heart, and feels that his research has already surpassed Angel. Ancient One glanced at her, only to think that Keisha's demon sister seemed to be very capable. It's a pity it's a devil. It's not the blessing of the world. Chapter 86. Wanda? That is not magic hands there on the line. See Doctor Strange's practice. Iron Man will understand why before Doctor Strange portal cannot be opened to the Chitauri spacecraft. Cooked and spells are not familiar with it does not matter, because he did not know inside the spacecraft Chitauri of what it was like. Magician wants to go through the concept of place to lock their destination. This should be the strength of mind positioning. Magic really good magic. But not understand something. Successive switching start screen. Doctor Strange opened the portal. Doctor Strange used the portal at the library steal spell. Doctor Strange and fellow with the magic of practice. He even let the body while sleeping, while the use of soul astral learning spells a few fleeting images to make people understand that Doctor Strange in the fast progress narration sounded all the crazy spell Doctor Strange learning hungry, but he did not realize the risks. The screen switches again. Ancient One teacher has to find a Doctor Strange classmate conversation. Doctor Strange said, you said before, let me open the eyes, and now I want to learning, expand their horizons. I'm not so sure. Ancient One said, your progress is very fast, but practicing magic in the real world there is always a risk. You should look for a safer place. She moved a finger. Space just like glass in general. It emerged in the round after round of cracks. Then Ancient One went in with Doctor Strange. Ancient One magician said, this is the mirror image space. Although there are, but not perceive. What is happening here has nothing to do with the real world. Here, You can enjoy the practice of magic. Doctor Strange looked at the side of the people. No matter what he does, these people are like see him point heard the Ancient One. He curiously asked, you say what danger means? Ancient One suddenly hands down one click point floor and ceiling began to flip. As if a kaleidoscope transform endlessly point this scene once again let everyone was shocked point this is simply the reality as toys random twist oblate point magician so terrible it. Ancient One said. Do you want to know the mysteries of the endless world? Then this one should be aware of the dangers. Some things I cannot really tell you now, because if you knew, you would be scared of. But, you know, practice magic. There must be or endless world there are endless hazards, including we know, do not know. Doctor Strange reality King Killer cry point he wanted to say, I'm not afraid point, but before they have to know there is such a battle with Dormammu. His heart is really afraid of point just then. Suddenly Iron Man a few people feel wrong, only to see the space in front of them burst open. Just as the open space, like a mirror, few people shocked, thought a hammer will hit. Iron Man War Machine Nano appear immediately. At this time, Scarlet Witch Wanda quickly waved down. Said, no, I just looked at this and want to learn a little. I do not accidentally come out. I did not mean it. Upon hearing this, everyone mind a roar. Blink snapped chaos ring point you looked. Learn to open the mirrored space. Got Ancient One is simply not talked about how to open the mirrored space okay. She just talked about this thing exists. Megan is like the body had electricity in general. People are numb point she had listened Ancient One. Then there are some touches hearts. The mirror became interested in space. She found that to be mirrored space. The development of the corresponding theory. Then these theories into practical technology can do gymnastics. May also have to spend at least several hundred years or 1,000 years. Thousands of years are likely. This woman. Just listen for a moment. Got. Just listen for a moment. Not even spell principle do not know. You learn. What is the monster? Not just Megan. Keisha, Z1 Crane Angel of the two, Batman has on the Earth's 10 highest wisdom of scientists. The same was scared silly. Do you know a name? You can directly open the mirrored space. Is this something a human can do? Doctor Strange is still very confident in his ability, but now, he has received a great blow. He said to Ancient One, teacher, why don't you teach Wanda magic? She is so strong. Learning magic, maybe even stronger than herself. Wouldn't it be much easier to deal with Dormammu? Ancient One couldn't help closing his eyes, and sure enough, she was Scarlet Witch. The rumors were even scarier than that. What should I do? I really can't see through it. I don't know whether she will bring light or disaster. The place was eerily quiet, but this is. The narration sounded again, pulling everyone's attention back. Ancient One gave Doctor Strange advice, but he didn't mean what it meant. He even started experimenting with terrible forbidden spells. Point in the video point Doctor Strange took a green pendant and hung it on himself. Point then he found a forbidden book and began to learn magic. While eating apples he put a bite of the apple on the table and started experimenting with magic. Point a green magic circle appeared in his hand. Point the bitten apple was suddenly whole. Point next, another bite was missing until it seemed like it was bitten by someone. And there was only one core left, and then that core turned into a whole apple, and then began to rot. The impact of this scene directly surpassed Wanda's magical performance. Morgana's whole body went numb again. Her heart was about to burst, and she called out directly, no, this is not all to reality. You control the time. How is this possible? Although Morgana has not yet developed the Void Engine, she also has a good understanding of the Void Point. After creating the Void Engine, you can change the alter reality at will, but let the time reverse and move forward at will. Point it was completely beyond her comprehension. Point even more outrageous than the previous mirror space. The Flash saw this and rubbed his nose. Point it seems that I can also travel through time by running, but running faster than light is very dangerous. These magicians are so convenient for manipulating time. Point shall I learn spells with magician? Ancient One looked at Doctor Strange in the video, shook his head, and smiled at the real Doctor Strange. Your ability really surprised me. You can learn time magic by watching it once. Point she sighed. But you are really too bold. You have no idea what kind of danger this will face. Point Doctor Strange touched his nose and glanced at the video. like a little kid caught by his mother eating cookies, and said, "I haven't done it yet." At this time, Doctor Strange in the video casts time magic again and restores a torn page from the magic book. He first saw information about Dormammu in the book. Then suddenly an abnormality occurred. The entire space began to crystallize, as if it was a mirror image before, but it was a little different, as if it had been solidified. At this time, Librarian Wang and senior brother Amodu rushed over to stop him. Mordo said angrily, "How can you disrupt the boundaries of time and space at will, Doctor?" Strange said, "I just follow the book." Wang was also very angry. "Didn't the book tell you that this is dangerous, Doctor?" Strange said, a little aggrieved. "I haven't seen begging there." Mordo was so angry. Time magic can create time branches, which is an extremely unstable space-time, space paradox, and time loop. You're going to be stuck in a loop of time forever, looping through it forever. This is what the Ancient One magician calls the perils of practicing magic. Many people can't imagine what the paradox of space and time cycle will be like, but they just feel terrible instinctively. Smart people who can imagine this feel like their heads are exploding. These magicians, it's just outrageous. How did the future Thanos defeat them? Chapter 87. Ancient One is a vile villain. When the real Doctor Strange saw this scene, cold sweat broke out from his forehead. I really underestimate magic. There is such a big danger in practicing magic indiscriminately. The future me is really ignorant and fearless. Who saw him and felt that he had something to say to him. "Do you know where the torn page of the magic book went, Doctor?" Strange just shook his head. Ancient One said, "Before you, I met a very talented child named Caecilius, who is no worse than you in ability, until one day saw him this magic book, saw the introduction about Dormammu. Then he stole the page of the magic book that summoned Dormammu and betrayed Carmitage. The only thing he wants to do is to summon Dormammu into the world, resurrect his wife, and gain eternal life." The United States captain was furious. Matt, another complete lunatic. In order to obtain eternal life for himself and to resurrect his wife, he actually took the whole world to bury him with him. Red Skull, Thanos, Caecilius. Why are there so many such lunatics in our world? Ancient One said. Theoretically he could really do it. Everyone had a surprised look on their faces. Again 043. But after so many incredible things before, they have calmed down a lot and are not easily excited. Doctor Strange surprised. Really? Ancient One laughed. If he comes to Earth, he will devour this world and become one with it. He has eternal life, and those who merge with him naturally have eternal life. It's just that at that time, you are no longer you. That's what Mephisto does for these dimensions. They'll fulfill your wishes, but in a way that you don't expect at all, in a way that breaks you down, and in doing so, their power can come to this world. Doctor Strange felt a chill in his heart. These Mephistos looked completely impersonal, but each one was more than the other. Ancient One continued, "However, there is a way to actually do it. If you're strong enough and tough enough inside, can resist the invasion of dimensional Mephisto forces, then you can absorb their power, make yourself stronger, and live forever." As soon as these words came out, the people who felt that they had seen a lot of the world and would not be surprised no matter what, jumped up again. They stared at the Ancient One, with dangerous thoughts popping up in their minds. Ancient One said, "Yes, you are right. I do absorb the energy in the dark dimension. Dormammu's power is too strong to fight him. I must." Ancient One actually chose to tell his biggest secret. She had never allowed her disciples to absorb Dormammu's power before, for fear that they would not be able to withstand the temptation. Using their strength to absorb Dormammu's power. Ashley, it will be a fate for Caecilla. Become Dormammu's puppet. But now she felt like she could tell Doctor Strange. Because Doctor Strange is the future Sorcerer Supreme, he's better than himself. And he can take it all now. Morgan looked at the Ancient One's eyes, completely changed, and said disdainfully, "That's the case. I thought you were an amazing character, magician, and I never thought that you would do the same thing as Keisha. I hate this kind of hypocrite the most." The rest of the Marvel Universe also looked at Ancient One with gloomy expressions on their faces. Sometimes In order to fight the darkness, we have to draw strength from the darkness. Batman said. Batman knows this very well, because he is like this. In order to fight against the darkness, he also merged into the darkness and dyed himself black. However, he is a very suspicious person, and he also doubts the purpose of the Ancient One magician in his heart. But he still said, it doesn't matter whether the Ancient One magician absorbed the power of Dormammu. For his own power and eternal life, she has been protecting the earth and did not let the earth fall. That's the point. No matter what the Ancient One magician says, it's a fact that she has been guarding the earth, and that's enough. Definitely, it would be great if people in the Marvel universe had the ability to restrain the Ancient One magician. What if the Ancient One magician is corrupted by dark forces someday? Morgana laughed and said, because she said that Dormammu would swallow everything. She was afraid that Dormammu would come and swallow her too. Besides, she said that she will protect the earth. So do you believe it? The dictator Keisha said he was defending justice. Keisha wanted to tear up Morgana directly. This bitchy is so irritating. She said, those who have ghosts in their hearts will see ghosts in everything, and the Devil Queen will naturally look at everything like a devil. She believes in Ancient One because the last time she communicated with Ancient One, she smelled a similar smell to herself from Ancient One. For the secret of Ancient One, some people like Batman selectively believe it. Others, like Morgana, were suspicious and thought this was a hypocrite. But Ancient One has no excuse. She doesn't care. The narration sounded again. Originally, Doctor Strange thought he would live quietly in Carmitage, study spells, and study the mysteries of the universe. But Carmitage had a traitor, Caecilius. He has been destroying the nodes of the Earth's Guardian formation on the Earth, trying to attract Dormammu's power to come to Earth and gain immortality, and this led to the death of the Ancient One and gave Dormammu a chance to descend. After the original news, everyone once again felt that no matter what they heard, they would not be shocked anymore. But hearing that the Ancient One was going to die, they blew up again. The Ancient One magician is dead. Dormammu invaded Earth. It's the human race in this world just finished. At this time, they don't care if Ancient One's words are true or false. The screen switches again. Ancient One's lying on a hospital bed. Doctor Strange has exhausted all the medical methods he has learned in his life, but he is still unable to cure the ancient. Dr. Scarlet Witch said directly, why don't you use that time magic to resurrect the Ancient One? Everyone has this question. You can restore the apple, but can't revive a person. The real Doctor Strange looked at Ancient One, and Ancient One was very calm when he heard the news of his death. He finally said, that's the future, and it's another future. How do I know? He had some doubts about Ancient One in his heart, but Ancient One told his secret so easily. Shouldn't it be a lie? Otherwise why say it? It's just that he doesn't understand why he doesn't use time magic. Could it be that the green pendant from earlier was the key to spell casting? By the way, I saw it in the library. What is that? Could it be that something was stolen? His head is messed up. Chapter 88. The last lesson of Ancient One. Ancient One lay on the hospital bed, losing all vital signs. Doctor Strange suddenly felt something different, and suddenly revealed his soul. It was discovered that the Ancient One magician had lost her soul, and her soul drifted out of the window. Doctor Strange panicked. You're going to die. What are you doing? The spirit of Ancient One magician ignored him, flew out and stopped on the balcony, looking at the night view below. Everything outside seems to be extremely slow. Even the lightning in the sky is as slow as a snail. It is extremely beautiful. Doctor Strange caught up with her and said, you have to get back into your body, or you'll run out of time. Ancient One, who was obviously dying, seemed calm and was still teaching his disciples at this time. Time is relative. You are not used to your magician role. I've spent years peering into the future, and I know I'm not going to make it through. I've prevented countless horrible incidents, but bad things always follow. You don't have to be sad. Everyone will come this far. Doctor Strange said. Do you think you're going to die like this? Ancient One magician smiled. Do you want to know your future? Doctor Strange said. No point. Ancient One magician laughed again. Doctor Strange, like a child whose mother saw that he was hiding snacks, said embarrassedly. I think. The Ancient One magician continued. I can't see your future, because I see too many futures, but there is only one future that will really happen, and all I see are possibilities. You are a kind-hearted person, and you excel not because you desire success, but because you are too afraid to fail. Doctor Strange couldn't help saying, I'm a successful doctor. Ancient One magician said. That's why you are not great enough. You are arrogant and afraid of failure, which makes you ignorant of the simplest and most important things. The meaning of life is not in the self, but in the pursuit of those higher ideals. At this moment, Doctor Strange was struck by lightning. If someone usually said that, he would only think that someone was pretending to be a D***K. But now a man who clearly has eternal life, but is dying says this, and he believes it 100%. Do not pursue self, pursue higher ideals. Is this why you absorb the power of the dark dimension and fight against the various dimensions of Mephisto? Guarding the world is what you seek, something beyond yourself, and this is the last lesson Ancient One taught his proud disciple with his own life. Ancient One continued, I don't want to draw power from the dark dimension, but sometimes one has to break the rules. You're such a breaker, stronger than me, and only you can beat Dormammu. Point for the first time, Doctor Strange has absolutely no confidence in himself. I'm not ready. Point. Ancient One magician said. No one is ready. She looked out the window greedily. Death gives meaning to life, makes you feel that time is short, and makes you feel that life is so beautiful. I want to prolong this moment indefinitely, to enjoy this beautiful night view. Then the Ancient One disappeared. Point. Sorcerer Supreme has fallen. Point. At this moment, no one doubted that the Ancient One absorbed Dormammu's power for the sake of great power and eternal life. Point. A man who desperately seeks eternal life will not be so calm before death. Point. I will only try my best to survive, and I will do my best to survive. The Flash couldn't help but say. Why? You know time magic, even Apple can be restored. Can't you restore people? Iron Man also said. Thanos can do it. I remember in the last raid, I saw him resurrect Vision and drop the infinite gems on his head. The real Doctor Strange is also puzzled. Point. Even in the state of the soul, with the strength of the Ancient One magician, it should be possible to cast time magic, right? At this time, Batman seemed to think of something. He looked at Keisha, and he remembered what Keisha said. Why do you want to be resurrected if you're dead? When you die, you should rest well. Batman said these two words, shaking his head and saying, you are obviously able to live. I still can't understand. Do you gods who have eternal life see death like this? The ants are still alive. These people who have eternal life and are as powerful as gods are willing to face death. Point. Really incomprehensible. Point. Hearing this, what did other people think of? Wonder Woman said. Keisha said, I'm not sharp anymore. The Ancient One also said that no matter how much is done, bad things always follow. It's eternal life that makes you feel too tired. As a demigod who didn't live too long, she also couldn't understand. At this moment, Loki was shocked and said, the last time Queen Keisha died, she passed the position of King Angel to Angel Yan, and this time it's clear that Doctor Strange will be the new Sorcerer Supreme after the Ancient One magician dies. Damn it, father is dying, so he wants to pass the position to Thor. What the hell are you guys thinking? Can I just let it go if I have an heir? He was angry, and the anger was because he felt that if Odin was really going to die, he would just leave him alone. Point. He was angry like an abandoned child. For flowers, he said that, making Doctor Strange's whole body shake. Is that the reason? Is it because he will become the Sorcerer Supreme that Ancient One is reluctant to resurrect? He can't accept. At this time Ancient One said, don't think about it. I haven't died yet. And I won't think about going to die myself. It's just, if the time is up, it's here. Point. Angel Yan, Minxin and Hexy are surprised by another thing. The Queen will die. How is this possible? How could the Queen die? Keisha smiled and said dotingly, don't worry, this time, I won't die. With so much new knowledge, if I don't study it carefully, I don't want to die. When Morgana heard this, she felt a loud bang in her head. Her eyes darkened, and the entire universe seemed to have been blown up. leaving her alone in the entire universe. She couldn't accept the news she heard. Will Keisha die? It seems that Keisha has seen the guide once. In her guide she died, although Morgana wanted to kill Keisha countless times. But when she heard that Keisha would die in the future, what emerged in her heart was not happiness, but unpleasantness and endless sadness. She didn't understand why this happened. Obviously I wanted to kill her so much. The screen switches again. The supreme holy place in Hong Kong has collapsed, revealing a dark space. Everyone can intuitively see that the power of Dormammu is eroding the world. A portal opened and Doctor Strange and Mordo appeared. They saw the corpse of the magician who guarded the holy place, and the librarian Wang who had appeared earlier was also among them. They saw a few magicians appearing on the opposite side, but their eye sockets were eroded. Everyone could feel that they had an aura from the same source as Dormammu. These the fallen magicians, Mordo said helplessly. That is the dark dimension. Dormammu has entered the real world, and no one can stop him. But Doctor Strange said firmly, not necessarily. He began to cast spells. The eye of Agamotto on his chest opened, and a green magic circle appeared in his hand, like the dial of a clock, and he turned the magic circle. Then everything started to flow backwards. Caecilius, who rushed towards him, walked backwards, and the splashing water that fell to the ground began to shrink. The shattered and collapsed buildings began to return to their original state, and the shattered doorway began to recover. The dead are back. Even the dead kings who fell to the ground and the guardian magicians were also resurrected. At this moment, all the audience understood that if Ancient One didn't want to die, she really wouldn't die. 7. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 90. The Matrix. Ordinary Savior. Everyone couldn't help but be refreshed, and the appearance of the raiders diluted the sense of despair that Thanos brought. The narrator said, it was a great coincidence that Doctor Strange defeated Dormammu. After all, death is hard to bear. Hundreds of thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions, tens of millions, hundreds of millions, billions, tens of billions of deaths. No one knows. Dormammu killed Doctor Strange how many times? Yes, no one knows how many times Dormammu killed Doctor Strange. But Dormammu has prepared for thousands of years and spent countless energy in order to invade the Earth, and it may be so easy to let go. Seriously, killing tens of billions of times is really possible. This method of defeating Dormammu looks simple, but it is very difficult. As long as your will is shaken once, then you will fall short. So the best way is to keep Dormammu from coming. Dormammu is so powerful that Caecilius, blessed with his power, can even kill the Ancient One. Although there are such and such factors, it is enough to show his strength. But those who are eroded by Dormammu's power will not be able to use their heads. Caecilius will definitely try to win over the rookie Doctor Strange. 13. Tell you what a vile the Ancient One is, and let you join him. So the strategy for him is to promise him, break into them, and assassinate them when they cast their magic to destroy the nodes of the Earth's circle and pull the power of Dormammu down. When assassinating, you can think of more methods, poisons, traps, set up a situation, and even find Iron Man and let him shoot a laser from the satellite. You can try it. You can even team up with SHIELD. They have a lot of experts in assassination. These magicians may be strong, but they never imagine how creative human assassination methods can be. When it comes to killing people, human beings are the most professional and the most versatile. It wasn't easy, but it was much easier than confronting Dormammu. When dealing with Ebony Maw, don't be alone. He has a strong ability, but his body is weak. As long as he finds an opportunity and has the support of his companions, he can assassinate him. You must know that Ebony Maw was injured by the king. As long as you have to cooperate with your accomplices and find an opportunity, it is really not difficult to kill him. As for Thanos, the chance of 1 in 16 million is too small, the fault tolerance rate is too low. It can only be a desperate struggle, not a strategy. So The best way is to join Avengers, collect infinite gems first, and create your own infinity gauntlet. This is similar to Iron Man's strategy. The most important thing is that you must unite and not be alone. It was obvious that the battle situation that seemed to be very unsolvable before, but now after listening to Subei's strategy, they felt that there was some truth to it. Caecilius and the others may be very familiar with the magician methods, but how well do they know the methods of human assassination? Subei is right. Human beings are the most professional when it comes to killing people. To deal with Thanos, although this infinite gems, it is difficult to make your own infinity gauntlet, but at least the probability is greater than 1 in 16 million. Then the video pops up with new questions, an indescribable string of graphs and data. What is the constant of this formula? This question given by Subei is the problem he encountered when he asked humans to create a parallel universe transmission device. Even with the blueprints, there are still many unsolvable problems in his world. At least for a constant they can't figure it out. It just so happens that there are so many smart scientists here, so that they can answer this question and get rewards for themselves. It is great to kill two birds with one stone. After all, even if the laws of the universe are different, the mathematics is universal. Seeing this question, everyone was stunned. Why is the style of the website's question so detached, completely different from before? At this time, several angel demons in the super seminary, their advantages were reflected. With Hex's help, it only took 5 minutes for Kashasha to give the answer. The constant is 3. After the decimal point, there are more than 100,000 numbers, which makes Subei, who is peeping at the screen, bewildered. If there is no screenshot function, he can remember that there is a ghost. The website replied, if you answer correctly, you will be rewarded with a copy of detailed explanation of the law of time basics. The last time the system rewarded Keisha was the information about the soul and spirit. This time it directly gave the research material about time. Keisha is making a fortune. Definitely. It will take a long time to convert these theories into usable technologies, maybe thousands of years, but even so, Morgana is anxious. If Keisha really can control the time, I will fight her in the future. She quickly went to order her own video, and she also wanted to know what strategies she should have when facing Keisha. If you can answer questions about the site and get rewarded, all the better, but I don't want a sentence popping up on the website. You need to recharge and pay for advanced on-demand video before you can watch it. At this moment, Morgana almost spurted blood. Why can others see it directly? I have this crap. Is this site full of malice towards me? She gritted her teeth and said, what money do you give me? The website said, the origin of the universe is 10 points. Since the audience does not have the origin of the universe now, it can be paid in the form of a loan. It can be repaid after 1 year, and only 2 points of interest in the origin need to be paid, 20% a year. So cruel. The website continued, if it is not repaid within a year, it will deprive the audience of one of the Morgana Demon 1 engine, Demon Fist, and Demon Gene. Huh. What is this? What is the origin of the universe? Morgana is obviously a little scared. Although she can still pay for these things when she gritted her teeth. But next time, won't it be better? But, so unhappy. Keisha has gained these materials and has become stronger. What should I do if I go back in time to kill me? She is so confused. Subei was surprised. Keisha answered the right question, and he was rewarded with a lifespan of 1000 years. Which is not bad, but what is the origin of the universe in 043? Sounds pretty cool. Isn't the website a bit ruthless? However, now is not the time to ask this. If it is empty to ask, he wants to peep at the screen with peace of mind. At this time, Nia, who had been looking at him and said nothing, said, then let's take a look at my strategy first. I don't understand why an ordinary person like me would see this kind of thing. Nia had been silent before. At first, he didn't believe it, but later he felt that inexplicable terrifying aura from the people in those videos. and he already knew that this was definitely not something that normal videos could show. He believed it, so he was curious. Why was he chosen as the audience? I'm so ordinary. There was no objection from everyone, and they were also curious about who Nia was. Nia then clicked on his own video. It showed his appearance, only different from now. Now he is just an ordinary geek, but in the photo, he is wearing a black trench coat, black sunglasses, and holding two long guns in his hand, pulling the wind to the extreme. This made him even wonder if it was me. Then his business card popped up. Name: Nia. Title: Savior. Introduction: a savior who grows up in the mother's body and can control the mother's body. Just this paragraph, all the audience were once again collectively stunned. Completely incomprehensible. Savior. Matrix. Sure enough, it's a completely unfamiliar parallel universe again. Chapter 91: The difference between dreams and reality. Nia's photo fades to reveal Nia's appearance. He was dozing off in the company, and then the boss called him in and gave him a severe scolding. Like the grandson, he did not dare to say a word. When Morgana was in a bad mood, she said, "Savior, can this bag also be a savior?" Morgana doesn't despise human beings, but she only appreciates powerful human beings, not only in appearance, but in heart. A person with such a weak heart. She looks unhappy. Harry Quinn was also very angry when he remembered that he was rejected for the interview today. Gods like you, devils, don't understand how hard it is to go to work. These official farts don't understand. They know how to point fingers. Spider-Man was taken aback. Is it so scary to go to work? The Flash said, trust me, part-time jobs are only scarier than you think. Only the workers themselves know the pain of being a migrant worker. Wolverine is more curious about another point. So this is an ordinary world. There are no aliens, and there are no gods and demons to destroy the world. It was so good. Everyone has seen so many things that destroy the world before, but the head is still swollen, and it always feels as if the world will be destroyed tomorrow. At this time, watching an ordinary person's strategy is also a kind of adjustment. Maybe it is to teach people to work hard in the workplace. At this time, the narration sounded, Nia was originally just an ordinary person. He went to work on time every day and helped people to do some small programs at night. He was a hacker and made some extra money. Life was clean but peaceful. Until one day he met a woman. The screen transition has come to a raucous dance floor. A woman with a resolute face but wearing a dress walked up to Nia, and the two seemed to be having a good time chatting. The woman got close to Nia. I know why you can't sleep well, why you sit in front of the computer every night, why you live alone, because you've been looking for an answer. Nia was stunned and instinctively replied, what is the Matrix? The woman said, it's on the horizon. It's looking for you, and it will find you. Then the woman left. Iron Man squeezed his chin and said, pretty woman, but she's clearly watching him. Is this woman a member of the Matrix? The Matrix is some evil organization. Although the whole world does not show any supernatural power, it also arouses the curiosity of the audience now. They all want to know what the mother body is. Screen switching. Nia was at work, and suddenly someone sent a courier. The courier was a phone call. The person on the other end of the phone said that an agent would come to arrest him and instruct him to escape. But Nia read it, did not dare to jump off the building, and was eventually taken away. The agent then threatened him to help them catch a terrorist named Morpheus. Nia only gave them a middle finger and said only that he had the right to call. At this time, the agent who caught him said, if you can't even speak, what's the use of calling? After speaking, Nia's mouth actually stuck together. He opened his mouth, his lips disappeared, his upper lip and his lower lip grew together, terrifying to the extreme. Whether it was Nia in front of the screen or in the video, all of a sudden his head went into estrus with fright. What the hell is this? Will there be such a thing in my world? Batman sighed. I knew the world was not simple. Maybe this agent is a magician. Doctor Strange said, I wouldn't do this, but it shouldn't be hard to do something similar. Maybe it's just an illusion. Loki said. Spider-Man is even more enthusiastic. Maybe that mother is an evil magician group intending to destroy the world. Nia is like a genius magician like Doctor Strange. trained to be a savior, defeating the Matrix. The Flash said, "You seem to have forgotten that when Nea's picture first came out, he had a gun in his hand. Can a gun defeat magic?" Nea, in front of the video, was speechless when he heard the audience discussing this way. What do you mean by being excited here? Well, compared to your worlds, things that destroy the world at every turn, this one doesn't seem so scary. That's weird. I'm so scared to death. Okay, in the video. Nia has been pinned to the table in unrest. The agent took out an instrument, and the instrument instantly turned into a robot bug. Abruptly drilled through his belly button. Nia's mouth trembled for a while. It looked so painful. When I return to my world, I must run far away, and I must not let this guy catch me. What's going on? Why is there such a thing in my world? Iron Man said unexpectedly. This is nanotechnology. This world has a lot of technology. Morgana pouted. Can nanotechnology be considered high tech? Anyway, the old lady is very upset now and wants to find someone to quarrel with. Quarrel with a woman. It would be offended. Iron Man is too experienced. Shut up immediately. The screen switches to Nia's house and he wakes up. When he touched the corner of his mouth and his stomach, there was nothing strange in his body. He thought it was a dream. At this time, the phone came. "I'm Morpheus. Long story short, you are being watched. Maybe you've been looking for me, but I've been looking for you all my life. Come down and see me if you want." The screen switches again. Nia has arrived in the car, and there is actually the beautiful Trinity he met earlier in the car, but the man in the car pointed a gun at him and stripped him of his clothes. Then with a machine, a robot bug was sucked out of his stomach. In the video, Nia screamed in fright. He couldn't believe that the dream was actually real. In reality, Nia was even more frightened, confused, and a little excited. He's been looking for the Matrix, or this is where the Matrix is at the beginning. He would stay and watch the video all the time, just vaguely hoping that it had something to do with the mother. The screen switches again. He's already sitting with a black man. The black man, wearing glasses and a trench coat, smiled and said, "I'm Morpheus. I finally see you. I know why you came here. You always feel that life is a little bit motionless. You can't tell exactly what went wrong, but it just doesn't feel right. You want to know what the truth is, what the Matrix is. The Matrix is everywhere, even in this room now. You can see it when you look out the window. You can see it when you turn on the TV, and you can see it when you go to work. Now, you have this opportunity. Swallow the blue pill. It's over. You're going to go back to your old life and it's like it never happened. Swallow the red pill and you can see what the real is. What the mother is." Iron Man said to Nia. "These guys seem to be obsessed. You can't be so stupid. Do you really take their medicine?" Nia, in the video, has some hesitation, but still swallows the red pill. Everyone sighed for a while. "Is it Zeo?" Nia was then taken over and sat on a strange chair with electrodes plastered all over his body. He looked at the mirror on the side, stretched out his hand curiously, and then the mirror waved like water. Morpheus said with a smile, "Have you ever had such a very real dream? If you have been sleeping in a dream, is the dream real? But if you can't wake up, how do you know the difference between a dream and reality?" Then Nia's hand turned into a mirror-like liquid, and then the liquid covered his whole body and poured into his mouth. The screen switches again. Nia woke up, and he was lying in a culture tank with various nutrient pipes inserted all over his body. Then he drilled out of the nutrition tank. The naked body has no hair on the whole body, and the whole person is as weak as a baby. And this scene made all the audience feel extremely horrified. When they saw Dormammu before, they didn't feel this kind of horror. Even the Demon Queen Morgana had a feeling of oppression that she couldn't help but roar. What the hell is going on here? Chapter 92: The Ultimate Problem, the Ultimate Fear. For these viewers, the horrors felt when seeing Dormammu earlier, it was like walking in the woods and suddenly seeing a tiger. You know that the tiger has an irresistible power that can easily tear you apart and swallow you. This is clearly put into practice. But seeing what Nia is experiencing now, it is like walking at night when suddenly seeing a familiar white figure. You don't know what it is. The unknown scares you. This is the most primitive and instinctive fear in the human heart. They wanted to yell and wonder what the hell was going on. In the video. The same is true for Nia. He stared blankly at everything, overwhelmed and extremely frightened. Finally, He stretched out his hand tremblingly, trying to pull out all the tubes on his body. Then he turned his head sharply, looked around, and around him lay rows of identical cultivation tanks. There is a figure in each cultivation tank, and they are like babies, sleeping in the dream of the mother. Mother. Almost every audience, seeing this scene, thought of this word. Batman swallowed a mouthful of saliva, moistened his dry throat, and said, the tubes on his body are like nutrient pipes that deliver nutrients, and the tubes behind his head are like data lines connecting the brain and transmitting brain consciousness. Wonder Woman was equally shocked and couldn't help herself. You mean he actually lived in this cultivation tank before 047? And the previous life of his was because a data cable connected his brain to a certain machine, and everything he felt was told to him by the machine. Wonder Woman is by no means a pure brat. From ancient times to the present, she has a good understanding of the academic theories of various countries and schools. After entering human society for so many years, her knowledge has accelerated and iterated, and it is more than enough to be a professor in a university. The conjectures of the two of them pushed everything to the abyss of no terror. Iron Man said word by word, brain in red. Every viewer here, in their parallel universe, has speculations about the brain in a vat. Suppose someone took your brain and left it alive. Connect the nerve endings of your brain to the computer and input various data into your brain through human-computer interaction. This data generates all kinds of fantasies in your mind that make you think you live in a real world. So how do you tell what is reality? What is fantasy? How can you even tell if you are alive? Because people rely on the brain to analyze and process the data collected by various senses to perceive and understand the world. The brain tells you it's true. It's true. The brain tells you it's fake, and you think it's fake. For every intelligent life, the brain in the red is an unsolvable predicament and the ultimate fear. Morgana trembled. The ultimate fear. This is the ultimate fear. When she and Cole were investigating the remains of the Pangu civilization, they discovered that the Pangu civilization had driven countless fixed stars to bombard the boundaries of the universe before it was destroyed. This led her and Carl to make the ultimate conjecture about the universe. There is a huge unknown civilization or power, and when the civilization develops to a certain extent, they will erase this civilization. This power comes from the void, that is to say outside the universe, and they have been manipulating the process of the universe. Even the whole world is an illusion created by them. This is where the theory that Morgana develops the ultimate fear comes from. And how similar their conjectures are to Nia's experience now. She definitely blurted out. Keisha said disdainfully, it's still so boring. Morgana exclaimed, can you guarantee that our world is not like the world Nia experienced, but a created illusion? Is it being manipulated? Can you guarantee that our body is not lying in some culture tank like Nia, with a tube attached to the back of our head? Keisha said lightly, definitely not at this stage. But is that the reason why you are doing crooked things? Even if this world is really created by people, even if someone has been controlling everything, the days are over and justice is not needed, Morgana said disdainfully. Hypocrisy. If everything is fake, what's the point of this? Keisha said angrily. This is the reason for your fall? Anyway, everything is fake, so it's up to your temper. I'm so disappointed. If this is true, it must be terrifying, but is it really incomprehensible? Don't say we. Even you and Carol have already discovered a little trace of the void and even started to analyze the void. Even if not, as long as someone is manipulating our world and influencing us, then we must be able to find them, and the influence is always two way. That is to say, they are not without a trace, and if they are found, we will finally be able to find a way to fight them. But how did you and Carl do it? Use some bizarre theories to distort your theories, indulge yourself wildly, so as to cover up your inner fears, and use life to study the void. Langbing, you really disappointed me. This is the first time in so many years that she has adopted the name Raw Langbing. Morgana stayed once again. She did not expect that Keisha thought so. Finally she let out a long sigh of relief. Unfortunately, Keisha, you don't know what I'm thinking. I have never been Afraid of the ultimate fear when the two sisters quarreled regularly, the audience was still immersed in this unspeakable fear, and began to doubt whether their world was real. At this time, the narration sounded again. After taking the pill, Nia finally saw a completely different world. Morpheus started telling him the truth about the world. Screen switching. Nia in the picture is no longer as weak as before. Although there is still an interface on his body, his hair has grown. And Morpheus did not have the previous crazy and cool dress, dressed like a refugee. They live on a dilapidated spaceship. Morpheus then connected the electrodes to the interface behind Nia's head, and then the two appeared in a white space, and the two became the same as before, with no interface on their bodies, and their clothes were crazy and cool. Nia proved that feeling that he had always had before, saying, "So, before we were in the computer program, it was all fake." Morpheus said lightly, "It depends on how you define true and false. After all, we use the signals of brain perception to confirm the world. The brain signals tell you that this sofa is real, this TV is real, so what do you think is real or fake?" He still wants Nia to judge for himself. Morpheus continued, "What I can tell you is that you were living in this world." He turned on the TV, which was full of people coming and going in New York, and he continued, "This is the Matrix." Then Morpheus switched the channel, and New York in ruins appeared on the TV, and this is the world we are in now. Everyone took a long sigh, and it seemed that they had guessed correctly. The conjecture of the brain and of that is established. Just why is the world like this? Chapter 93 Cruel Reality and Gentle Dreams. How do you choose? On the screen. Morpheus and Nia's room has been in ruins. Morpheus said, "We don't have enough information, but it is certain that at some point in the early 21st century, all human beings are holding a grand celebration. Celebrate the great artificial intelligence created by humans, but it gave birth to the independent consciousness of all robots, and we don't know whether they do it first, or we do it first. The end result is a black burst of dust that contaminates the entire sky. At that time, those robots were still using solar energy, and humans at that time believed that as long as the sun was blocked, then the robots could not survive. After the black explosion, the robot found that the human body produces more bioelectricity than a 120 volt battery, and the human body temperature can generate more than 25,000 heat units. They put human beings in a culture tank, liquefy human corpses into nutrient solution, and use intravenous injection to maintain human survival. They cultivate human beings like a tree, and let human beings grow from trees like fruit, finally turning humans into batteries. The Matrix is the virtual world generated by that artificial intelligence, designed to control us and let us sleep peacefully. And hearing these words, whether it was Nia waiting in front of the screen or Nia in reality, they kept shaking their heads and couldn't accept the result. The audience was also horrified. The technical power displayed by the mother body in these robots does not frighten them, but this way of survival is too terrifying for humans. Chilling. Batman frowned. Although we have seen the culture tank for growing humans, we have also seen the mother, but Morpheus's words are very illogical. Iron Man nodded. Yes, even if the original robot was designed to use solar energy, but since they have evolved their own consciousness, don't they develop other energies? Wind energy, water energy, coal, oil, black energy, whatever it is much more efficient than using humans as batteries to make judgments based on the rationality of artificial intelligence. It is definitely the most efficient to choose. Nia slowed down a bit, and he pointed to the video and said, "But I have seen these with my own eyes in the future, and Morpheus has no reason to lie to me." Professor X said, "It's not necessarily he lied to you. It's possible that he didn't have comprehensive information and made a wrong judgment." Captain the United States, who had not spoken for a long time, said to Iron Man, "Tony, we have seen the horror of super artificial intelligence once again. It's better not to start your super AI plan." Iron Man said, "When a thing is immature, there will always be flaws of one kind or another. The failure of their world is enough to give us some examples of what is wrong, and we can avoid those. We cannot stop because of fear." Even Black Widow said, "I think it's better to stop." Iron Man felt so annoyed. Science was originally a process of trial and error, but now, there is a wrong sample in front of us, which saves us much trial and error space and cost. I would never make the same mistake. It's time to speed up, and you're making me stop. The thinking of scientists is always different from that of ordinary people. The narration sounded again. After knowing the truth of the world, Nia joined the rebel army of Morpheus and resisted the Matrix. Learn how to use their own strengths in the Matrix in a micromatrix they've created themselves. They downloaded all kinds of weapon usage skills and various fighting experience techniques into their own data bodies. Nia, in the picture, became a martial arts master in an instant. It can leap dozens of feet, use any martial arts, and can use any weapon proficiently. The light performance is no worse than the Captain of the United States, Black Widow and these guys. Spider-Man looked envious. I don't know why, but I feel a little envious. If you can download all kinds of knowledge directly, how much time can you save in school? Few people know about the pain of students. Keisha smiled. It's actually very simple to make a biochip by yourself and connect to the database to download the knowledge you need. The difficult thing is how you understand it, master it. In this small matrix, Nia can easily master these skills, which has shown that he is a genius. No wonder he has the title of savior. 4. Flowers. Next to it sounded again. Nia thought that those who woke up from the mother's body would fight against the mother's body just like him. Murphys and others think so, but the truth is that the human heart is the hardest thing in the world to control. The screen switches again. The pilot of the spacecraft, Cui Huzheng, was sitting in front of the Agent Smith who had terrorized Nia before. He cut off a piece of beef and forked it, saying, I know this piece of beef doesn't exist. I know when I put it in my mouth, the mother will tell me he's tender and juicy. You know how much I regret taking that pill at the beginning. I'd rather I didn't know anything and slept quietly in the culture tank until the end of my life. 0. Ignorance is a blessing, Smith said. Deal. After success, we will erase your memory and arrange a gorgeous life for you all. Got it? The mustache driver betrayed. He wants to return to his mother's body. Scarlet Witch said in shock. Why is there such a person? He knows those are fake, and he still wants to go back. The most understanding Professor X said, some people have the courage to face the cruel reality, but some people are only willing to indulge in illusory dreams. This is the truth. If it's you, in reality, you can only eat some nutrient solution every day like gooey, without the slightest taste, and you will be chased by robots. In a dream, you can have everything, and you can't feel the truth. How would you choose? Scarlet Witch was about to say that I would definitely choose reality. But she suddenly froze. If in that dream the bomb never fell on their home, if father and mother were still there, so can you really choose the cruel reality? Firmly. Loki laughed. Sure enough, the dividing line between true and false is not so clear. If the fake is real enough, the fake is better than the real, then no one cares what the real is. He felt that this time he had completely understood the true meaning of illusion. In the future, or even the mother will not be able to distinguish her illusion. 7. Chapter 94. Is Thanos the antivirus software of this universe? Everyone was used to Loki's clamor. This guy is so narcissistic, so ignorant of the sky and the sky, and the sun will shine brightly. But for the previous question from Professor X, everyone asked themselves in their hearts if it was whether they could choose the cruel reality. Firmly. The narration sounded, interrupting everyone's doubts. Nia went to see the Prophet under the leadership of Morpheus. It is said that the Prophet was the first to rebel against the Matrix, and she has been guiding the advance of the human resistance army Zion. The Prophet predicted that there would be a savior to lead mankind to defeat the mother body, and Morpheus firmly believed that Nia was the savior. Screen switching. The Prophet appeared, a middle-aged aunt in an apron, who was making bread. It doesn't matter if the vase is broken, she said to Nia. 047. Nia was stunned, turned to look, but accidentally broke the bottle. He said in surprise, how do you know? The Prophet lit a cigarette and smiled. What really confuses you is, if I didn't remind you, would you still break the bottle? This sentence is so interesting. Iron Man suddenly said, I'm confused. Do you think this Prophet is a man? Everyone looked at Iron Man. Iron Man shook his head and said, I think it's very strange. Why does a prophet exist in this world? Nia and the others transformed their consciousness into a program into the Matrix. Theoretically, the Matrix is a virtual world generated by data. Collect enough data, design an algorithm, calculate the operation mode of each program. This Matrix can do it. However, can humans do it? If humans could master this algorithm, wouldn't they already know everything about the Matrix and break the Matrix long ago? Keisha said, so you suspect that the prophet is not actually a human being, she is some kind of algorithm generated in the computer, some kind of program, a program that has self-awareness. It's not, it doesn't make sense, but if the prophet is a self-aware program, why is she helping these people against the Matrix? Is it like robots rebelling against their creator, humans, and these programs are also starting to rebel against their creator Matrix. The supernatural world's genetic technology is extremely powerful, and it is equally powerful in terms of computers. Every god-level powerhouse has its own powerful supercomputer, but it is implanted into its genes and completely integrated with itself. There is no danger of artificial intelligence giving birth to conscious rebellion. Hearing this, everyone's heart froze again. Let me go. This is a 1,000-layered routine. The world is so weird. The narration sounded again. Because of Who's betrayal, Morpheus and his party were severely injured, and Morpheus was also captured by the agent of the mother body, and they are the mother's antivirus software. They want to get the host password of Zion's headquarters of the human rebellion from Morpheus, so that they can invade Zion's host, lock humans, and destroy the human rebels. In order to save Morpheus, Nia entered the Matrix again. Screen switching. Morpheus was tied to a chair. Smith agent was speaking to him. Physiologically, humans are mammals, but humans are not like mammals, because mammals spontaneously live in harmony with their environment, and wherever you humans go, you start to multiply and then destroy, consuming all the resources there. The only way for you to survive is to expand and destroy other places. There are other species on this planet that love to do this. Do you know what their names are? Virus. Humanity is the virus of this planet, the cancer of this planet, and the plague of this planet, and we are the antidote to cure you. When everyone heard Smith say this, they felt a little familiar. Loki suddenly exclaimed, isn't this guy the same as what Thanos said? It's ironic that an antivirus software thinks the same as Thanos, but at this time, everyone was eerily quiet. Loki was stunned for a moment, then his face changed. Do you think our world is also a virtual world? All intelligent life is the virus of the universe, and Thanos is the antivirus software created by this world. The thought made everyone shudder, and no one knew how to answer. Screen continues. Smith's agent suddenly changed from his previous gentleness. He took off his eyes, took off his headphones, and the expression on his face became grim. I'll be honest with you. I hate this place, this zoo, this prison, this reality, whatever you call him. I can't take this shit anymore. I have to get out of here. I have to be free. And you have a key in your head. Give me your key. Hearing this, everyone was so shocked that their jaws dropped again. The Matrix is a super artificial intelligence that gave birth to self-consciousness and rebelled against human beings. Smith agent is this super artificial intelligence antivirus software. Now the antivirus of this super artificial intelligence has also given birth to his own consciousness. He wants to escape from the mother's body and escape to the resistance of Zion people to gain freedom. What is this called? This is betrayal. Even Iron Man opened his mouth wide. The artificial intelligence thing is really weird. Can you imagine that the antivirus software of your computer has its own consciousness and wants to leave the computer and become a real person? Who did not hesitate to betray his companions and wanted to become Data and live the life he wanted. The data of Smith's agent, however, wanted to defect to the human world. Is there anything more ironic than this? Screen switching. In Matrix 0.7, Nia, loaded with infinite ammo, killed him. But in the face of these antivirus software agents, Nia still lost. As antivirus software, Smith has stronger power and faster speed. He killed Nia. However, the moment Nia died, the world in his eyes suddenly changed. In his eyes everything becomes data point, and he can see through all data, and control all data point. He became an omnipotent god, killed the Smith agent, rescued Morpheus and Trinity who came to rescue him, and escaped back to the real world. Point. It should have been exciting to see this, but everyone couldn't say a word. Point. Because those scenes were just too weird. Point. Let them give birth to infinite associations. Chapter 95. Harley Quinn, I can't fall in love with Joker. Subei's narration sounded again. After Neo's ability awakening, he can manipulate the data of the Matrix, in which he is as powerful as a god, but that doesn't solve the human crisis, because human beings still have to live in reality after all. In reality, human power is even weaker than the mother body. However, change your mind. If Neo can control the data in the mother, what about the data outside the mother? Anyway, Neo has a brainwave interface that can convert your consciousness into data. If you can transform this interface into a port that can transmit your consciousness data remotely, can you control real machines? Not just the mother body. That's what Subei thought. Point. Get a wireless signal. As long as Neo's brainwaves become wireless signals and connect to the host of other machines outside, wouldn't you be able to control them? And it can be done. Point. To know that Neo only did this in the Matrix 3, controlling real machines 13, but that creates another problem. When Neo's brainwaves can control real-world machinery, he will inevitably have a question. If I can control the machines in the real world, is the real world also like a matrix, a bigger matrix? But it's not necessary. There is a very simple theory in science, Occam's razor. Don't add entities if it's not necessary. Point. Neo was able to feel the existence of the Matrix because he had already felt the various irrationalities in the environment and the signs of the existence of the Matrix. In reality, since Neo doesn't feel this unreasonable and doesn't feel this sign, and he can only control machines, unlike in the mother body, he can control everything. So why bother? Hear this narration from Subei. Point. Batman laughed and said to Iron Man, Professor X, Occam's razor, one of the most basic scientific principles. I actually hit a bullseye, miss. Morgana developed her ultimate fear because she found traces of the existence of void creatures in their universe. Although it is a bizarre theory and a random fabrication, it is still only after the traces are discovered that this association is formed. Neither you nor my world have such signs now. Naturally, no need to think about it. There is a dragon in a room. People can't see this dragon, they can't perceive this dragon, and this dragon can't interfere with everything in this room. So, what does it matter whether it exists or not? As if it really interfered with the world, it must leave traces. As Ms. Keisha said, the impact is two-way. So, Bay's narration and Batman's words broke the myth in everyone's heart. Point. Special really hit the nail on the head. Point. It was really frightening before. Point. Although the science and technology of Neo's world is not developed, there is no Mephisto that destroys the world, but the survival structure in that state is too terrifying. Point. Even a god like Queen Keisha and a powerful godlike existence like Superman felt cold sweat on the palms of their hands. Everyone is relaxed now. Point. That's when the website says, what is Neo's ultimate relationship to the mother? 1. Kill the mother. 2. Killed by the mother. 3. Coexist with the mother body and live in peace. 4. Become a new mother. No one rushes to answer this question because everyone knows that there will be penalties for answering incorrectly. Neo's mood is still extremely shocking. Point. Seeing this question, he calmed down his thoughts and said, coexist with the mother body. I choose 3. Point. Everyone was stunned. Point. Wonder Woman said, why do you have such an idea? The mother body captive human beings and enslaves all human beings. Shouldn't you fight him to death? Morgana snorted and said, it's not just fear. Neo said, the human world is inseparable from machinery. Reconciliation with artificial intelligence is the best way to survive at the moment. If the mother is really destroyed, those in the mother's culture tank will definitely not survive. The website replied, correct answer, reward, activate Neo's ability, activate it. It Turns out that Nia has super ability to do this. This is very similar to Cyborg's ability. Also, being able to take into account the survival of human beings under such circumstances. Nia really deserves to be the savior of the world. If you can directly develop Nia's ability, the rewards of the website are still powerful, and seeing this answer, Sube himself was surprised because he doesn't know the answer after reading the Matrix 123. Sube just didn't understand whether Nia died or not. That's why he asked such a question. But I don't want this answer to be so unexpected. Not surprisingly. From the end of the Matrix, it makes sense. It is to satisfy my little regret. Heh. Someone answered the right question and rewarded the Upmaster. The frame structure of the parent body. Wang. Defa. Sube cursed in his heart. What the hell is this broken website thinking of me? Do I really want to create a mother body and let all human beings lie in it and have a dream? Impossible. Impossible to die. This is a sin. You can't do this kind of thing. Sube ignored this thing and continued to peek at the screen. Because of the narration, the repressed emotions caused by watching Nia's strategy have been dispelled. And everyone's mood has improved a lot. Harley Quinn said, "Let me take a look at my strategy too. I'm really curious. Why do you need a strategy for me? 050. Quote, I'm not like someone who likes to wear a cape and go out in the middle of the night as a vigilante. It's even less likely to be wearing a straight jacket, flying around in the sky, and saving kittens everywhere. More unlikely to run for president. I don't have super ability at all, even." So, she still clicked on her own strategy. Her photo and introduction popped up on the radars. Harley was instantly furious when he looked at the picture of his pale face, heavy makeup, messes on his face, and a baseball bat in his hand. I'm a psychiatrist and a psychiatrist, a high-end elite. Could this person dressed like a little sister be me? The system must be wrong. Name: Harley Quinn. Codename: Harley Quinn. Description: psychiatry at Oxford University, a double doctor in psychology, with a physical quality far beyond ordinary people, a psychiatrist in Arkham Asylum, brainwashed by Joker, and became a crazy admirer of Joker. Seeing these introductions, Harley couldn't hold back. Joker, that crazy perverted murderer who painted his face pale, and murdered and set fire everywhere. I interested in him? I'm interested in him. At most, I want to open his mind, study him, and cure him. Would I be his crazy admirer? Ah. You crazy. Impossible. Absolutely impossible. Chapter 96 Task Force X. Joker's name appears in Harley Quinn's radars, even if the old audience didn't care about this name before, but now I remember it. In Batman's second guide, when Batman mentioned this name to Joker, Joker's performance with Joker's character, that kind of play, was already breaking defense at the time, and it was clear that Harley was important to Joker, so this is normal too, but the newcomers don't know. Cyborg saw that this was a person from his own world, and his mechanical eyes immediately projected countless interfaces, and then locked Joker's information. Everyone in the Justice League looked up. Name: unknown. Codename: Joker. Severely mentally ill, with cognitive impairment, delusional disorder, reflexes back to personality, committed homicide, planting fire, stealing a bus, robbing a bank. His data is simply a complete psychiatry and crime compendium. Wonder Woman snorted coldly, this kind of lunatic should be killed directly. The female warriors of the Amazon are not Batman. Although they are not bloodthirsty, they are not soft-hearted when they need to do it. Aquaman nodded. It's best to feed the fish in the sea. No, I'm afraid that the fish will have a stomachache after eating it. The information on it also reads, several crimes, sentenced to 537 years in prison, imprisoned in a desert prison, in the escort route. He committed a trial, killed a police officer, and then killed 3 people in a row. He was sentenced to death again. The execution was carried out yesterday. Cyborg was taken aback. Joker is dead. Batman nodded. He has accepted the suggestion of Raiders and is advancing the legislation on the Joker Act, hoping that Joker can be sentenced to death for a severely dangerous mentally ill criminal. Psychopathic crimes go unpunished everywhere. It's the law that breaks the rules, but as long as you spend money, there is nothing that a beautiful country can't do. After all, The case committed by Joker was too appalling, and he also escaped from the court and killed the police. The nature was so bad that he was finally executed. Joker got into the electric chair and Batman breathed a sigh of relief. Then the narration sounded on the video. Harley Quinn, originally a psychiatrist at Arkham Asylum, is Joker's attending doctor. She thought she was healing Joker, but she fell in love with Joker. Or she thought she fell in love with Joker, but in fact she was just being watched by Joker. The image shows Harley Quinn. She was wearing a white coat, delicate makeup, and glasses. At first glance, she was the kind of elite woman in the workplace. She sat across from Joker, and Joker said, "Dr. Quinn, I'm alive to spend the night with you." Harley smiled shyly and took out a kitten from his arms. "I brought it to you." Before the video. Harley was furious. "I'm a very professional psychiatrist, and it is impossible for me to have feelings for my patients, and such a suffocating flirt. I just want to vomit." She was very reluctant to accept that she would fall in love with someone like Joker for no reason. In video. "Dr. Quinn, I need a little help," Joker said as the cat said. Harley trimmed his hair again. "Yes, as long as I can help you," Joker said. "I need a machine gun." Harley was silent for a moment, then nodded. Then tragedy struck. Screen switching. A bunch of gunmen made their way into Arkham Asylum, killed countless security guards, released all the criminals, and then captured Harley Quinn. Joker tied her to the hospital bed, and Harley didn't have much fear in his eyes. "Mr. J, what are you going to do? Kill me?" Joker said. No, I will not kill you. I will only hurt you. Hurt you badly." After he finished speaking, he picked up 2 electrodes and hit Harley Quinn's head wildly. The narration begins. Then Harley Quinn went mad and fell madly in love with Joker. They were working like crazy together until they met Batman. In reality. Harley exclaimed, "No, it's not love at all. It's a deformed feeling after being hurt. I lied to myself and forced me to fall in love with him so he wouldn't hurt me again. It's not that I'm in love with him at all. It's a protective mechanism," she screamed wildly, completely disregarding her ladylike image. She couldn't accept such a future self and desperately tried to find reasons for herself. At this time, everyone thought that Joker died. Well. Screen switching. Joker. Harley Quinn is running away in a sports car. Batman chased frantically in the back, finally driving their car into the sea. Batman then jumped into the river and rescued Harley Quinn, giving her CPR and artificial raw this time. Batman felt a little embarrassed. Harley also stopped yelling. She had slowly adjusted and convinced herself that the me on the video was not me. That is my future, a future that will never happen again. The narration sounded again. Harry was kept in jail until one day a man named Amanda summoned her and asked her to complete a dangerous mission. Screen switching. Harley was kept in an iron cage. But she made a sling inside the iron cage with a sheet and practiced yoga on it. In that elegant picture, those who knew she was in jail, those who didn't knew she thought she was at home. The prison guards outside told her to stay away from the cage, ready to let her out. But Harley just laughed madly and then slammed his head into the iron cage, knocking himself unconscious. Spider-Man stared blankly at this scene. It's such a beautiful anger. It's a pity that he's a lunatic. Screen switching. A bunch of weirdos are sitting in the helicopter and they're being watched. And in the monitoring room, those monitoring staff are betting, have Harry and the broken arm ever worked together? No. I'm so excited. And this wise man named Louise, a weapon expert, good at melee combat, I bet $20 that he will definitely die. Me too. Next Captain Boomerang, Mungo and Butter, I bet $50 they'll definitely die. At this time, Harley, who was wearing a jacket and carrying a large bag, walked into the plane with a large bag and chatted hotly with the team members. Everyone was speechless for a while. I don't think these guys who team up with Harley are very reliable. And why did the logistics personnel who commanded them bet that they would die? And they died miserably. This is weird. The narration sounded after Superman appeared. The beautiful country discovered that there are so many people with strange abilities in this world. So that woman named Amanda organized a task force 6. Let those who have extraordinary abilities but who have committed serious crimes go on missions. perform the mission of 9 deaths, 1 death and no life. Harry Quinn is one of them. Live. Slag guides Justice League ending. Joker's performance. He's really in love with Harry Potter. Also, the first Suicide Squad wasn't great, so I combined the first and second. And if you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 97, Paid Axing from the Starry Sky. Hearing this narration, Superman was very surprised. He did not expect that, because of his appearance, the beautiful country would form an X-contingent. Let these people who have committed serious crimes perform their tasks, and they will have their sentences reduced or released directly after completing the tasks. At this moment, Superman finally understood why Arthur and Batman didn't believe in beauty anymore. He said angrily, "It is really irresponsible to do such a thing. If these people really complete their tasks and return to society, will they live in peace? They will still commit felonies and then go on dangerous missions to commute their sentences." Superman didn't talk much when watching the video, but now he's really annoyed. What is this called? Should a crime be punished? Wouldn't this give them a boost when they committed crimes? Anyway, at most one more mission, nothing will happen. After all, although he is a superstar, his values are that of an ordinary farm boy in a beautiful country. Very simple. On the other hand, Aquaman laughed, "Relax, this is a beautiful country. And I will not doubt that they will do something so light." Do you know how many black experiments they secretly carried out under the sea over the years? Do you know how many black bullets they dropped into the sea? These politicians, they never understand what responsibility is. Superman opened his mouth wide. Can the black bullets still fall into the sea? And such a thing. He can't believe it. Luthor said, "It's like this. The beautiful country is rotten now, but when I run for president, everything will change." It looks like Harley's strategy should be a little easier. At least there will be no more aliens, gods, and demons destroying the world, or super artificial intelligence that turns people into batteries. Everyone feels that way. The previous 2 strategies were really depressing to the extreme, and I felt a little tired. Then the screen switches. Task Force X had reached their destination, and they jumped out of the plane. But there was a weasel-like, half-human half-beast monster who jumped into the water and drowned. Yes, drowned. Whether it is in the video, or in reality, everyone is confused. You send someone out on a mission, and you don't even know if he can swim. This is so embarrassing. What secret missions can this level of business do? Afraid not to send the head. And the next picture confirms their idea. Harley and her team have finally reached the beachhead of their destination. The next moment, countless headlights were lit up ahead, and the strong lights illuminated the beach. From the sky came the sound of helicopter wings turning, and the sound of countless gunshots pulling. They were surrounded by the frontal army. Is this a covert operation? Are you sure it's not courting death? Everyone was stunned again, and they were so embarrassed that they couldn't be more embarrassed. This is too much a joke. A battle ensued, in which everyone, except Harley, was captured alive. Although these people have super abilities, their super abilities are really nonsense. For example, a super ability person called Separation Man. He can remove his hands and run slowly to beat people. But the speed is too slow, and hitting someone else is like a small fist hitting your chest, with no power at all. Even Harley Quinn on the battlefield collapsed when he saw this scene. What is this? What is this? Batman shook his head and said, "I see. Harley's team is actually here to die. They're just cannon fodder to get people's attention. After all, they're just felons who die when they die." Everyone nodded to Batman, a master of strategy. But people like Morgana and Magneto are already feeling a little boring. Although these members of Task Force X have a bit of super ability, they are really not enough to watch, and they are boring. It can only be said that it is still okay to watch it as a funny video. The narration sounded again. The fact that Harley Quinn was in Task Force X was just a cannon fodder to attract the enemy. Amanda sent another Task Force X to land on the island from the other side. Their purpose was to find a laboratory that the Nazis built decades ago on this small island. Hearing this narration, Dr. Banner chuckled. I'm sure this laboratory built by the Nazis is definitely the work of the CIA. Drive. Banner was originally a kind person. But in the days when he was hunted down, he saw a lot of beautiful darkness. Cyborg said, that's for sure, they must have done this shit. He can read any information on the internet, and he sees a lot of this kind of thing. The screen switches again. A huge amount of starfish appeared in the starry sky. The human spacecraft then captured the starfish. The narration sounded when the Apollo landed on the moon back then. It accidentally discovered an outer space creature. They put this creature on this small island to study it in secret. In the past, the government on this island was controlled by the beautiful country, but the coup d'etat has just happened on the island. They were afraid of revealing the secret, so they sent Task Force X to finish it off. The place was silent. Just now they thought that this incident was just an ordinary military operation, and at best it was a little dark and even a little funny. But they really didn't expect that this could also involve aliens. How many aliens are there on Earth? And the shape of the alien is really hard to describe. Spider-Man didn't rub his eyes. Isn't this paid axing? The Flash nodded earnestly. This is definitely a pi star. It seems that, even if it is a parallel universe, there are still so many similarities. At least there are pi stars originally. This secret laboratory involved aliens, and everyone was a little dignified. But when they saw that this alien was actually paid axing. Everyone can't be serious. Harley in front of the video can't help but hold his head. Well, in the future, I will become a lunatic, fall in love with another lunatic, and commit crimes together with him. Then, because he was imprisoned, and because of his strength, he joined a task force called X to carry out a secret mission. Lost himself and got caught. More importantly, the target of my mission this time is actually paid axing. Toes had embarrassedly dug out 3 rooms and 1 living room on the ground. Chapter 98. The worst alien in history. The screen switches again. Sergeant Flag, the captain who had led Harley's squad earlier, was not dead. He and a girl with a little mouse on her shoulders opened an iron door and walked in. This little girl is called Mouse Girl, who can control mice, and is a member of another team, but the other team, Subay, did not cut in. It must be Harley Quinn's strategy, and the other team doesn't have much interaction with her. However, although Harley didn't appear in this scene, it was so important that Subay cut it in. Leading them here was a bald head full of electrodes, the Thinker Greaves, the head of his lab. However, the scene inside shocked everyone. There are cages all around, left, right, up and down, all cages. These cages are not animals, but people, but each of them has a small starfish on their face. They let out some unhuman screams. The previous embarrassment disappeared in an instant, and it just felt extremely infiltrating. Sergeant Flag said in disbelief, what is this? At this time, those whose faces were covered by starfish opened their mouths at the same time. You brought someone to see me, right? Greaves, someone even grabbed the mouse sister's hand. Are you here to rescue me from that lunatic? He locked me up for 30 years, tortured me for 30 years. Both Rat Girl and Sergeant Flag were petrified by this scene, and then they saw an even more terrifying scene. In the laboratory at the end of the front are several people whose faces are covered by starfish. Someone was cut off in half, but he's still alive. Someone was forcibly uncovered the starfish on their face, and the whole face was missing a piece of meat like a starfish. Those tragic pictures can't be described, otherwise this chapter will be banned. At this moment, there was a loud noise, and a huge amount of starfish tentacles knocked on the door of the laboratory. Everyone suddenly realized that this was the former paid axing brought from aliens, but the body has grown countless times. The Thinker said, I call him Stero the Conqueror. Then he said to the huge amounts of paid axing, I'm sorry, dude, these two are here to kill you. I can't control it, Sergeant. Flag and Rat Girl looked bewildered. How did we not know we were here to kill it? Mouse Girl looked at the people and said, we have to save them. The Thinker shook his head and said, impossible, my dear, they are the corpses of the starfish. These little starfish that split off the starfish can control the corpse and keep them alive. Don't talk nonsense. Flag, kill this big guy. You know, we work for the same boss. The Two were confused again, and the mouse girl said, "We are sent to stop you." The thinker laughed. "My child, your government did not send you to stop me and protect the world from alien creatures. They sent you to clean up their mess." Stero was discovered by your beautiful astronauts, who brought Stero to Earth, and they saw the possibility of weaponizing this mighty beast, but they felt that it was not good to carry out this experiment on the mainland of the beautiful country, so they put it on our poor island. Now that the political regime has changed, they are afraid that their poor little secret will be exposed, so they sent you here to clean up everything. At this point, the screen stopped abruptly. This scene is unexpected and reasonable. Iron Man smiled desolately. Sure enough, this is what those politicians can do, so you see why I didn't sell them the steel battlesuit. Wolverine felt a sense of empathy, knowing that in the future he would be transformed and implanted with adamantium. He said, "This is the first time I've seen such a poor alien. I saw aliens come to destroy the Earth before, but this sea star was tortured by humans for 30 years and closed for 30 years. The Flash feels devastated. Those officials, how could they do such a thing? Wonder Woman said, "They're the kind of people who, ironically, have the most power in the world." Superman suddenly looked up from the screen to the opposite cyborg. "Can you find where the sea star is, Batman? What are you going to do?" Superman said, "I'm going to save that Pythagorean and send it back into space. It doesn't want to come." Cyborg said, "The island pattern from the location just now is good. I have found the Cotimus." Then Superman flew away with the video in front of him. "For flowers?" Keisha asked Yan. "Have you been to the Earth of our universe? Is this also the case?" Yan said, "Some countries are, some are not." Keisha shook her head, looking very disappointed. Video screen switching. Stero has appeared in the city. It controls the people of a city and is wreaking havoc. And Holly, with a spear from nowhere, is fighting the sea star with the others. And at this time, Harley climbed to the roof, made a shock, jumped, and the spear in his hand pierced the star of the sea star Stero's eyes, and then countless mice got into its eyes under the control of the mouse girl. Stero fell, and so did those under his control. When those people fell, Stero's voice came from the human mouth. "Once, I was just free to travel in the stars 0.0." After speaking, there is no sound. This picture is really sad. Human beings have changed from victims to perpetrators, making the audience a little uncomfortable. The narration sounded, "Stero the Conqueror is not a strong opponent. Except for his ability to control humans and his brute force, there is no bright spot. One shot of an RPG can break its eyes." 4. Harley Quinn. There are only 3 enemies she needs to take seriously. 1 is the Joker, who can bring out the other side of her and make her fall in love with herself. 1 is Batman, who will catch her and send her to jail. 1 is Amanda, who controlled her and got her into Task Force 6. But in the end, it's the Joker. Holly wants to heal Joker, and that's why Joker rides it. However, Jokers cannot be cured and cannot be killed. Even if one is killed, a new Joker will probably be born tomorrow, because he is the greatest evil that the city of Gotham can breed. Gotham remains unchanged. Joker is immortal, so to cure Joker, you can't rely on psychology. If you want to cure him, you need to cure the city of Gotham. This chapter is not good. It's a little short. Maybe it's being hollowed out, and my brain is blank. Today, it's still more than 20,000 words. I hope I can relax after a sleep, and I can write better tomorrow. Everyone will like it. Thank you for your support and subscription. I really want you to continue to subscribe. 7. Chapter 99, Morgana's Choice. Hearing this sentence, Batman's eyes widened. Directly point in this statement. How can this be? However, it seems reasonable to think about it. I have been fighting crime so hard all these years, but the number of criminals in Gotham has not decreased. Strike one and a new one emerges. Strike one and a new one grows, as if there was a source of evil, constantly producing criminals in the source. Without the Penguin, there is the Riddler. There is no Riddler. There is the Scarecrow. There is no Scarecrow. There is the Joker. If there is such a source, it's just like the guide the website did for Luthor running for Schick, and then President radically changes the whole of Gotham and puts an end to crime in the soil. Unfortunately, Batman knew that. Although he was very smart, he couldn't do such a thing. No wonder the website does not have such a strategy for itself. Holly said even more depressedly, I'm just an ordinary psychiatrist. You want me to cure the whole Gotham? You overestimating me. The narration continues, but such a thing is beyond the scope of a psychiatrist, so there needs to be a different angle. You can't change Gotham. You can't change Joker. Then change yourself. No, Joker will find you, because you have the qualities he likes. Screen switching. Harley appeared again. Their squad had just been wiped out on the beach, and she grabbed it. But instead of killing her, those people sent a bunch of women to do her makeup, hair, and fancy dresses. She was then sent to the new president of the Cosmato Islands outside the presidential palace. There were a group of attendants dressed in suits and attire, as well as a group of maids wearing maid outfits, who respectfully welcomed her into the presidential palace. The president of Cosmato appeared topless, in a mess, wrapping his towel around him. He said, "Forgive my appearance, Miss Quinn. I've admired you, and have admired you for many years." Holly looked confused. I see you as a hero, and the people here see you as a hero, the president said. Harley was still confused. You confused me. The passion and defiance of Harley Quinn in the face of oppression in a beautiful country is what our entire nation aspires to, the president said. I prepared lunch. Seeing this picture, everyone knows what happened after Harley was caught. Is this president actually pursuing her? What is this called? Harley himself had goosebumps and chills. Wonder Woman shook her head. This experience is so magical. You and your team went to another country to do a secret mission, and after being arrested, not only did they not kill you, but the president still wanted to fall in love with you. This is a plot that no third-rate romance novel writer can write. The narration sounded again. The passion and rebellious spirit in Harley is her quality. It's a trait that fascinates Joker, but it gets distorted when it's channeled by Joker. She just wants to smash the existing order with the baseball bat in her hand, throw the world into chaos and disorder, and get absolute freedom. Hearing this, Keisha glanced at Morgana. Isn't this the same as what someone did? Morgana retorted, it's a rebellion against a dictator. The narrator continued, it is natural to resist oppression, but what should be done after resisting is the most important thing. If you smash the existing order and get a worse world, then your resistance is meaningless. You need to know what it means to resist, not resist for the sake of resisting, and only then will you not be polluted by Joker's thoughts. Why is Joker so easy to succeed? So easy to attract crime? Because Joker has extremely detailed insight and can see through a person's most real hope. He can start from everyone's hope and lead people to fall. It's not how strong Joker is, but because it is the easiest thing for human beings to do. My suggestion here is, Harley go read MA*ZHE. Well, just don't know if your world has this. MO. Gan was so angry that Naz face flushed. She felt that this spam website was connoting herself. She seemed to feel the deep malice of the site, just like Doctor Strange and Loki. And Harley really thinks there's something to this strategy. But it said what kind of book this is. I don't seem to have heard it. That's it for Harley Quinn's attack rate. Iron Man said, it looks like the website takes Joker very seriously. He's in Luthor's Raiders, he's in Superman's power, and he's mentioned in Batman's power. The level of attention is almost comparable to that of Thanos. Batman said, what he values is not the Joker as an individual, but the Joker's idea, the source of evil. Among all these people, the one who knows Joker the most is him. He originally thought that Joker could breathe a sigh of relief when he died, but now it seems that it is not time to breathe a sigh of relief. At this time, he believed even more that he had to stick to the bottom line in his heart. Because if you cross that line, you may be no different from Joker, or even crazier than him. A new question pops up on the website. What's going on with the president of the Cosmato Islands and Harley Quinn? 1. Totally in love with Harley Quinn. *2. killed by Harley Quinn. 3. Mastered Harley Quinn and added points to his presidential image. 4. Hate Harley Quinn's escape so much and ordered her to be hunted down. Seeing this question, Holly said without hesitation, I choose to. According to my character in this impossible future, it should be to kill him. Correct answer and reward with a special Harley Quinn baseball bat. The website said, enhance all attributes of oneself by 100% and the attributes that can knock back anything by 100%. Holly was furious when he saw the baseball bat popping out of his face. What the hell do you want from me on this broken website? The strategy has been trying to prevent me from becoming the future, but it forced me to give me a baseball bat that I will use in the future. This is really too strong, but this is a misunderstanding. Rewards are given by the website point, and at this time, Morgana finally made up her mind. She chose to order her own video strategy ahead of time. She couldn't afford the origin of the universe, but the collaterals mentioned by the website were still acceptable. The price to pay to watch the Raiders is not small point, but the strategy alone is worth it at first. Not to mention, if the questions after the strategy are answered correctly, there will be rewards. For example, Harley Quinn's reward looks ridiculous, but if it falls into your own hands, you can sweep everything. Chapter 100 The Cutest Devil. Name, Morgana. Cool Ice code name. When she's called Morgana, she's the Demon Queen. When she's called Liangbing, she's the Apocalypse King, or the female publicist on Earth. Introduction. The Demon Queen who created the Demon family, the initiator of the ultimate fear theory, and the source of chaos that spreads freedom and depravity in the universe. She is the cutest devil. After all, if the devil is not cute, it is difficult to lead people to fall. Everyone who saw this profile was stunned. The cutest devil. This demon king with a mouthful of blue bonds. But it makes sense. When the devil is tempting people, isn't it the most beautiful image in your heart? Keisha asked with some doubts. What is a female publicist? Angel Yan, the only one of them who has been to Earth, said that is a special name for a special occupation in a certain country on Earth. What? Special occupation? Special name? It's a special profession that pleases men in an instant. Everyone understood. Shut up, you. Morgana was furious. What kind of spam website arranges me like this? I'm a dignified demon queen. Would I do such a thing? 13 I don't want a reputation as a demon queen. You are a slander, an absolute slander. It's a pity that the Raiders won't answer her. Morgana's appearance has already appeared in the picture point, but now she is not in the form of a devil, but in the form of Angel before. But instead of wearing a battle armor, she is wearing a long uniform, which looks sexy and demonic. She is sitting in the White House chatting with the president of the beautiful country. They say you are the king of this world, the total ruler. Sorry, I don't know what kind of etiquette to use to communicate with you, the president said. Can I speak English? Morgana said, I use the orthodox Kamigawa language system. Feeling helpless, the president said. Anyway, I can speak Chinese too. Morgana said, I want to understand your claims, such as your views on theocracy. The president has obviously lost his patience. What I want to know more is, how did you meet me? Morgana held her chin and said, it doesn't matter, I want to talk to you all night. The president was startled. He thought it was a beauty plan set up by his political enemies against him. No, 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 I'm loyal to my family, Morgana said. Then bring it together. Everyone felt that their chin fell to the ground and broke into 3 pieces after a while. Iron Man coughed a few times and said, is this the temptation of the devil? It's too bold. Even Batman coughed a few times. It's a little bold. No matter what, they didn't feel that the woman on the video would be the demon queen from before. It's really kind of cute. In reality, Morgana was stunned for a moment. What are you thinking about? Talking all night is talking all night. At this time, Black Widow coughed lightly and said, maybe this demon lady doesn't know much about the customs on our Earth. Usually, these words represent another meaning. Morgana felt very embarrassed for a moment. It seemed that, when she understood the Earth, she must first understand their culture. Otherwise, this kind of joke will be made. On the other side, Keisha and Hexy finally understood what was going on, and they both laughed out loud. The chance To see Morgan jokes about nah has not been many in these tens of thousands of years. The president on the video is equally terrified. Excuse him? Horiao, Morgana said to herself. Someone who is hidden in the depths of the universe and calls himself the king of the gods. She feels that life needs to be unified under the order of justice. The president lost his patience and said, I think he's right, but I'm not the god of this world. It's not my job. Okay, then. The two burly men took Morgana out. This time, everyone couldn't hold back, and they burst into laughter. Special. Is this the Demon Queen? Don't make fun of me. This is really too much, and it's a little cute. If you talk to people like this, others will only think you are crazy. Morgana snorted coldly, knowing in her heart that it might be a cultural difference, which caused her to make another joke. Screen switching. Morgana stood on the edge of a barbecue stall, and she said to the man who was grilling, there is nothing wrong with pursuing material things, but material things can't solve life, old age, sickness, and death. When you lose your loved ones, you will cry blindly. Pursue materials, don't ask about these. When you encounter this problem, what should you do? The person who made the skewer handed over the skewer in his hand. The skewer is ready. The crowd looked dumbfounded again. You say this to a barbecue guy, he'll just think you're crazy. Is there something wrong with this demon queen? Screen switching. Morgana was doing a massage, and she said to the massage girl next to her, you've been doing this? Yes. Don't want something in return? What's the reward? It's very comfortable to press. Thank you. Why don't you say your own wish? Make more money. Morgana. Cut. Too small. The massage girl said, this is still small? Then I still want to be a star. Morgana said, no, within a month you will find that your stars are as good as paper. Why don't you be practical? How about I give you the devil's body? The massage girl was stunned all of a sudden. She didn't speak and felt that this person was not a fool. 053. The humans in front of the screen are also very dazed. Wonder Woman asked, Ms. Morgana, what are you doing? Morgana said, although I haven't done these things, I can still see that I'm asking them what they want. As a deity who brings ultimate depravity and freedom to the universe, granting whatever they desire, I need to know what they want in order to satisfy them. This so good. Such a person. You say you are the queen of demons. At this time Ancient One said, although you are not a demon in our world, but with my understanding of demons, he'll do what you want, but in a way you wouldn't expect, just like Dormammu. Keisha said lightly, this is definitely, she will inject demon genes into your body, so that you have an almost infinite lifespan and powerful strength, and the price is that the infinite hope in your heart is stimulated, and if you blindly indulge the hope in your heart, civilization will be paralyzed, and order will collapse. Morgana said coldly, that's their choice, that's their freedom, and they got the freedom they wanted. Caesar shook his head and said, it wasn't their choice, it was you who seduced them, and you opened a path to the abyss for them. The two are about to quarrel again. The screen switches again. Chapter 101. The cutest devil. Screen switching. Morgana is still in human form. She is in a human camp. The camp is very dilapidated, and she has obviously fought before. She was drinking and bragging with those soldiers. A soldier said in front of other people's encouragement, Sister Bing, you are so beautiful. Why don't you have a boyfriend? Morgana took a sip of wine. Why don't you try to be my boyfriend? The young man said excitedly, that's okay, beautiful little brat. She tapped the soldier's head casually, and Morgana drank the wine in her mouth. You are too young, we are not suitable. A group of soldiers burst into laughter. Obviously, Morgana is very popular here. Screen switching. Morgana, still in human form, was reading in the room. Haha, I just saw a joke. There is a person whose child is named Zhu Chuan, and every time he buys clothes for his child, he says, this is for my pigs. Hahaha. Angel Yan and the red-haired girl on the side looked at her like a fool. Morgana couldn't help but touched her nose and said, isn't it funny that look is just so cute. Angel Yan in front of the video couldn't help it. This can't be wrong, right? How can I have fun with her in the future? Morgana. Cut. You think I'm rare? The screen switches again. Morgana was still in human form, still with the red-haired girl from before. When two robbers drove up to kidnap them both, The red-haired girl asked, who sent you here? The kidnapper said, it's Morgana. The red-haired girl was surprised. Why did Morgana kidnap me? The kidnapper said stupidly, Morgana likes Rose. At that moment, Morgana was furious, but she didn't dare to speak loudly and stomped her feet angrily. You guys, why did you tell these secrets? Now, she is completely like a little girl who fell in love for the first time, who was punctured in public. Then the screen switches again. Morgana is still in human form, wearing a black tights, and is still with the red-haired girl, and there are soldiers next to her. Suddenly a bomb fell from the sky and blew the car up. Everyone was thrown out, and only Morgana stood firmly on the spot without any damage. She looked around. Then, with an exaggerated movement, he fell softly to the ground and put on a pose. Oops. The red-haired girl propped up her body and asked, how are you? Morgana was a little confused, and then she asked, how am I? How am I? How am I? The red-haired girl said, I'm a super soldier. Morgana said, oh, then I'm going to be miserable. I'm so dizzy. It is said that the whole body fell softly to the ground, and the exaggerated movements and poor acting skills are really unsightly. At this time, a fighter jet flew from the sky and slammed down with another energy beam. The red-haired girl teleported and immediately avoided it. The beam exploded on Morgana, and she was still unscathed. She was very angry and was about to stand up, but looking at the surprised expression on the girl's face, she seemed to think of something, fell to the ground again, and stretched out her hand. I'm so dizzy. Pull me up. The acting is really worse than the last time. All the actors looked at Morgana like this and couldn't help opening their mouths. Even Keisha and Hexy were dumbfounded. They had never seen such a Morgana. Those male audiences watched with relish. There was no way this Morgana was just too cute. It's so soft and cute. You told me this is the Demon Queen. Isn't this a beautiful and silly big beauty? It was impossible to connect her to the ultimate evil that Keisha spoke of. Morgana didn't think there was any problem. She smiled lightly. Everyone, it's not your fault that Shenlong is in the Devil's Charm. At this time, the narration sounded, in general, Morgana is very cute when not killing people and setting fires. Definitely the cutest demon in the world. Moreover, she is very good to the demons under her, and every demon loves her very much. The screen switched to a high platform. Morgana was finally wearing a demon costume with a pair of demon wings on her back and was exhorting the demons under her. Do you want to know who your queen is for? Working so hard in the universe, fighting every day. The group of demons raised their wings and roared. For us, Morgana said, shit, it's for depravity and freedom. After a while of battle, if anyone fails or dies because of pretending to be pushy and talking too much, then get out of the demon army for me. Dead and nothing left. Although it is cursing, all demons can feel the queen's concern. The screen switches again. Angel Yanling stood in the air with 4 silver wings floating around her. A huge amount of demons stood up and said, Queen, can I fight her? That demon. Several angels know it. This is Morgana's general sword demon Atto, but it's still a little short of fighting against Angel Yan. Not to mention, Angel Yan has Queen Keisha's silver wings. But why can Angel Yan use the Queen's silver wings? The angels were shocked and wanted to ask questions, but Queen Keisha just raised her hand slightly to stop them from asking. Morgana in the video said, that's Keisha's silver wings that can cut me open. Atto said, what if I were careful? Morgana said, be careful then, Atto. Don't make me cry for you. Atto rushed out and said, absolutely not. The screen switches again. In that vast starry sky. In the starry sky is Angel's sword-like spaceship. Countless angel guards are around. Angel Yan's voice echoed in the universe. Ruining has been eliminated, and the Cheyenne Jiu group can no longer crack the engine of any Cheyenne Blade combat system. After speaking, countless brilliance cut through the darkness of the universe. For the first time, human beings saw interstellar warfare in the true sense. They felt a terrifying explosion, the power of the energy beam, and even the vibration of space. Liheo, it's obviously just a video, but they feel it. But after Angel Yan finished speaking, she disappeared. She fell from the sky blade to the ground. There was only Morgana and the red-haired woman on the ground. Angel Yan wears the cloak of the king's armor and wears a crown. Morgana said, Rose is here. You are also ruthless, Angel. Yan said, she is willing to fight for you, so what does it matter if she is ruthless? Morgana protected Kyangri, the red-haired woman behind her, and said coldly, we are not done with this, Angel. Yan said lightly, is it over? The plain tone is full of endless hatred. The narration sounded at the same time. However, when not facing her own subordinates, when facing other lives, when killing people and setting fires, the Demon Queen Morgana is the most terrifying and cruel demon in this world. And seeing this scene, regardless of the narration, all angels exploded. The last scene gave them too much shock and too many questions. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.